Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
It's 4Player Podcast, and I'm Brad.
Are we going to let that be the intro to the show? Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 546. It is April 12th, 2018. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons, who has returned from hiatus.
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey guys.
And Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you.
Fucking video games.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Guys, I know this is not 4Player Minute yet. I'm so fucking excited for God of War.
Spoilers.
I'm so fucking excited for
What
God
does
of
that
War.
have to do with anything?
Nothing.
Nick?
I just wanted to get that right out of the gate. I'm so fucking excited. First of all, I want to thank Ed for being on the show last week.
Oh,
He's not here, but thank you again, Ed, for flying down for the exclusive purpose of being on this podcast. It was a joy to have him here.
That was alright.
Absolutely delightful.
It was okay. Anyways, before we get down to brass tacks, I know we have some stuff. Brad's been playing some stuff. Nolan started some stuff. You know,
Finished some stuff.
You finished some stuff
And continued some stuff.
Oh man, I've only played the same thing.
You gotta diversify your video games.
What did you
Working
finish?
on it.
Ooh, don't you want to know?
No Kuni?
We can't get there.
Don't you want to know?
I mean,
You're
I might
getting ahead
not
of-
want to know.
You're getting ahead of ourselves, or you're getting ahead of us. Thank you, Chris Davis. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody listening at home or watching us live, we have a community Discord that we would love you to be a part of. You can find it at discord.gg/4player. You can find us, as well as the rest of the wonderful community in there, talking about all kinds of random shit all the time. It's a great place to be if you like our show, so check it out. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. We do answer questions every single week from our supporters on Patreon. All it takes is $1 per month, and you can ask us questions on every show. So we'll get to that in the second segment. Holy shit, Butters just came charging in and is now sitting on the podcast. Well, Nolan's been replaced by a dog. God damn it, Butters. Anyways, we usually start us off with, banter.
So speaking of
movies,
dogs, Nick,
right?
Banter.
I saw Isle of Dogs.
Oh, you did?
I did.
How was it?
I love dogs.
It was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't even realize that until I was like talking about it with Burnett after the movie. But I was like, oh, it kind of does sound like I Love Dogs.
I love dogs?
Yeah.
I love dogs.
My God,
Tricked you. Tricked you.
My mind is blown.
So in my opinion, it was definitely a Wes Anderson film.
Awesome.
I did enjoy it. It's not my favorite Wes Anderson film.
What is your favorite Wes Anderson film, by the way?
Ooh, that's tough.
Crispy, did you see
There's
it
a
yet?
correct answer.
Is there, Crispy?
Is it the one
Because
tattooed
my
on your leg?
answer is Life Aquatic.
That's it. That's the correct answer.
It's not the one that you have tattooed.
That's not the
It's not.
correct answer.
Fuck you, Brad.
That's the correct answer.
No.
I haven't seen it yet.
I find that
because
shocking.
I know.
People, well, hold on, Nick. It's not so shocking because it is limited
haven't been going to
release.
the movies.
It's not like it's in every theater in Austin, which means you're limited on time. And also, Crispy has a busy schedule.
It's
I'm
shocking.
so busy.
No, fuck it. It's shocking. Fuck you.
Shocking.
This is Brad trying to...
Dude, no.
Brad's
that's
trying to start
fair.
arguments so we get more comments.
It's
He
fair.
has a tattoo.
It's
a Wes
fair.
Anderson tattoo. And all his movies are the fucking
right.
same, which means...
They're not.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
I know. Darjeeling
You're-
Limited sucks.
You're right. Darjeeling Limited is extremely problematic, but I don't think it sucks. But it is shocking that I haven't seen it. I really want to, and it's been out for like 3 weeks now.
I know.
And I haven't.
That's why I said shocking.
This weekend.
I just know
Fuck
how much
all
you love
y'all.
it. All right.
Next time you see me, I'll have seen that movie.
Wonderful. I'm going to hold you to that. I saw A Quiet Place on
yeah.
Tuesday. That movie is
heard
really
it's
cool.
good.
I heard
Yeah.
that was a pretty good, like, kind of throwback monster movie.
Yes.
vibe to it.
Very much
And
so.
that- and that the
Don't
trailers.
talk much about it. Though.
I'm not.
And that the trailers maybe like portray a slightly different tone than what the movie sets out.
Yeah.
Because like the trailers, like the vibe that I got from the trailers was very much like art house kind of.
Wait, what do you
With horror especially, I feel like the less you know.
I know. I'm not going to say anything
We're
about
not
it.
talking about the actual movie. just
I mean,
talking about-
I do want.
Well,
I
no,
do
no,
want to
it's a more
say.
traditional
I did go.
monster
To,
movie.
I did go to the draft house as I always do to see it, and
it's a fucking monster.
trying to eat while watching this movie.
Yeah, no, did
Yeah, I
I not
heard
talk
about
Very
about that?
difficult.
Like so many
that.
people I talked to, or that like I was reading online, were saying like, "Oh, I saw it in theaters," and like every person that had a fucking candy wrapper.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Like,
ordered.
just
I
the
was
internet.
starving. I was starting. I ordered a wrap, and the wraps all come with chips. And I was like, oh shit. And like, it's funny because you look around and everyone in the theater is like sitting there with their food in front of them, and they're waiting for something crazy
like,
to
the
happen. And as
noise.
soon as something crazy happens, everyone darts for their food and starts like shoving it in their mouth. It looks like everyone's stress eating.
They should have done like a special menu of just all soft foods.
No, they did. They said for
potatoes.
the release night.
Macaroni and cheese.
They did a special screening of it like the week before, and on the release night they had like a quiet food menu. They didn't have that last night, so I didn't.
There's another horror. Well, I guess it's sort of an anthology. It's 3 stories. It's British. Martin Freeman's in one of the stories, and it's coming out soon. And it's also like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So
Wait, it's a movie that's 3 parts? What?
it's a movie that's 3 stories.
Oh, so it's one movie that's 3 stories
Right.
in it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think it's
gotcha.
called like Ghost Stories or something. I think that's coming out
lost
soon.
me there.
and it's
Yes.
getting really good reviews. So I guess it's a good time to like horror movies.
I suppose so. But yeah, I do highly recommend it. John Krasinski is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Apparently fucking
Pretty good. I
nailed
didn't.
it.
Yeah, he.
Apparently, he's a father to Ryan Reynolds now.
Yes, that was a really good tweet. Yeah.
He slipped right into that bearded murder dad trope.
Yes.
It's pretty natural.
Yes, he did.
Wait,
But he does it
murders
quite
his
well.
Family?
Oh, I don't know. Does
Just going for the whole Last of Us vibe, right? The whole Logan vibe. Don't do it, Butters. I know what you're thinking, Butters. Don't do it.
the whole God of War vibe.
Yeah. Oh man, don't bring up God of War. I'm so fucking
So many.
excited.
Old guys with beards.
All right. So first of all, before we get too far into it, I do want to remind everybody. So since Brad's back, he's off hiatus, but for the first month or so, you're going to be
For the next 4 weeks.
the next 4 weeks. You'll be here for like the first half of the show, and you kind of have to bolt
Yeah.
because of work schedules
Yeah.
and shit. And then after that, you'll be back on full time.
Yeah.
But it's great to have you back. Welcome back, Brad.
Yo,
Um,
what's up?
so let's go ahead and jump into the video games. Brad, why don't we
What
start?
about feedback? No.
Oh fuck, Jesus! Thank you. I'm a terrible host.
Yeah.
Let's read some feedback from
Pretty
last week's
bad. It's okay.
podcast.
You used to be better. Something happened. I don't know.
Old age.
Ever since your
His,
accident.
his memory's
Ever-
failing.
Since my accident.
Wait,
Jesus Christ.
the
Anyways,
day he was born?
of course, every week we do read feedback from the last episode. If you have any thoughts or comments on anything we talk about tonight, leave us a comment for this episode at 4playernetwork.com. We will read it at the beginning of the next show, and we'll commentate on it. So our first bit of feedback comes from Mr. Green Toast. He says, "Great to have Ed back on the podcast. I wanted to say a few things during the Kingdom Come discussion. While it was I who was giving tips and tricks to Ed during the cast of Kingdom Come, I am not Green Goddamn in chat. That's someone else. Good to know. He also says the quests in Kingdom Come are way more open-ended when it comes to solutions and thinking outside the box. Will still reward the player. Example,
He said that.
Huh?
He said that.
Did he? Oh, you mean Ed said that last week?
Yeah.
It sucks because Ed's not here, so he can't really. Surprisingly, he's the only person on the show that had actually played Kingdom Come, so he can't really.
I just can't
Comment
play it
on
because every time I say Kingdom Come, I chuckle a bit.
You, maturity.
Why did they name their game Kingdom Come?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. All right. He said, I had a side quest to make a public execution of 3 men go horribly wrong, and it had a time limit of a week before the execution was to happen. You're free to ignore it and fail, but can still show up to see it happen. Try to botch 1, 2, or all 3 execution tools and watch the funny result, or you could show up and tell the executioner of the plan to fool him. That last one was unmarked, and I only found out because I was goofing around and thought, what would I do in real life? And I was just shocked that there was an actual option there. That's pretty cool. Hearing that kind of shit makes me want to play this game.
Yeah.
Although there's other things about this game that makes me not want to play it. But it does sound cool. Lastly, the developers have been putting out several patches to fix major bugs, and the latest free patch has added the ability to change Henry's hair and beard, along with new kill animations and weapons. The only downside so far is the PS4 version has longer loading times at the current moment.
Oh god!
I didn't
don't
even
play a console.
I bet I didn't even realize there was a console
This
option
is not
for this game.
one of those games. If Eurojank games, always stay away from console.
Gotcha.
Always.
No, yeah, this was one of those games I saw it and I was like, that's definitely a PC game. He also says, side note, Kingdom Come is a lot more Elder Scrolls Oblivion rather than Skyrim with its similar HUD and landscape. All right, and Lil Corks says,
I like that name.
You like that name?
Yeah, Lil Corks.
Lil, I can't deal with.
Lil Corks.
I've never like Lil Kim. I can't. I
You
can't
have
deal
to
with
enunciate the T's.
Yeah, I can't deal with the Lil.
Little Corks says, hey, another great podcast and week of streaming. Enjoyable content as always. Thank you very much. Just wanted to chime in and say that I am also disappointed with the lack of variety of weapons in the new Far Cry. We talked about that a little bit. While the shovel is by far my new favorite weapon, I was hoping for more crazy and outside-the-box ideas. They should have just included everything. Imagine an incendiary shotgun or exploding sniper rifle. The bow still gets things done fine, though. Those long-distance headshots are just so rewarding. Anyways, sorry for the long rant. Enjoy your weekends, and all the best from the west coast of Canada.
Nice.
Cool,
You're
thank
forgiven.
you. You know what's sad? I've been playing that game so much, and I have not used the shovel very much.
Dude, it's
That shovel is so good.
You can throw it like a javelin.
I know, and it's like sticks
But
straight
that's
into
the
people's
thing,
faces.
right? Like, I mean, that's what everyone's been talking about the shovel.
Yeah.
And they're talking about because of the throwing, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. 'Cause you
I'm not missing something.
No.
right?
Dude, I saw a GIF today of someone taking the
A
shovel.
gift?
GIF.
You said gift.
GIF. Sorry, I'm
Actually,
sorry I
he
added a
said
T,
GIF.
Nolan. I didn't mean to.
Gift.
He throws the shovel straight up into the air, and then he looks down, and there's a guy like walking up a trail towards him. And after about 3 seconds, it comes down and just nails him right in the head. And I was like, "Damn, that looks like fun." But you're right.
Far Cry 2 did it better.
The shovel.
Brad
Hey
just
man,
being Brad.
I think they were like if they had gone full tilt on doing the crazy weapons, it would have felt even more like Just Cause. And I don't know if they were really wanting to go for like that crazy, but hey, I don't know. It certainly would have added some variety, some much needed variety to it. Can you bring up that last comment, Chris Davis, so I can read it?
I mean, that was the last comment.
No, there was one more.
Oh.
Because he followed up. He said, to add on, Far Cry 5 is simply mindless fun, and if you take it at face value, there is nothing wrong with that. The visuals, music, and atmosphere are fantastic. I am still playing and enjoying it despite its flaws. Cool. Not much else to say there. I totally agree. I did end up actually... I recorded a podcast with David last night. He wanted to talk about Far Cry. So we ended up talking about that for like an hour, and we went to some weird places that we didn't really go on our show. So we're going to get that out in some form for everyone to listen to. I'm not sure when that'll be up, but look for that. Yeah, thank you guys for the feedback. Of course, like I said, if you have anything you want to say after tonight, please leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com, and we will get to that. All right, now that we've done feedback, Brad.
Yes.
Are you twisting your mustache?
Yeah, I trimmed it a week or so ago, so I don't have much to twist, but yes. Yes, Nick, what's up?
What's been up, Brad? You have some video games to talk about.
I've actually been playing a lot of... I've been a little scatterbrained when it comes to video games. So,
yeah, tell me about it.
But before we get started on the games I've been playing, I'll say the reason I'm not talking about like No Kuni or Alliance Alive, which I talked a little bit about last week, is because I've been doing this weird JRPG deep dive.
Oh, I saw you tweet about this.
That as I've done that, I've not gone deeper on any given game. It's sort of like spread out. And now I've
That's
been
a weird
kind
approach to take with JRPGs. I feel like
I've been sampling a lot of different JRPGs. I'm trying to come up with some sort of thesis. I don't know the reasoning for what I'm doing.
Brad's gonna write a thesis.
Why I'm doing what I'm doing, but it is interesting because I found some of these games, JRPGs I've been playing lately, sort of lacking in some very specific ways. So I've been kind of looking at what makes a good JRPG and what JRPGs are better at certain things than others, You
should do your top 5 JRPGs.
When can we expect this in like a journal of some kind?
I once asked a question,
Peer-reviewed.
like what is a JRPG with like really good dungeons, like a traditional turn-based JRPG? And like most of the people who attempted to answer that question were just kind of like, no. And my question is, does any JRPG have like good, memorable dungeons? Like a traditional turn-based JRPG, but with, not a Souls game, not a Zelda game. Those are games with like good level design, right?
And they're also very distinctly not JRPGs.
Exactly.
Doesn't the
not
fact
traditional.
that like the combat in JRPGs is so completely removed from the rest of the game experience.
It's not Ni no Kuni. It's not Ni no Kuni. But dungeon design still kind of sucks.
Like level design.
I wouldn't say that game really has dungeons.
I was also
it has places, areas. You know?
Sure. When you said that, though, I started trying to think back to all the JRPGs. I haven't done like a deep dive into JRPGs in quite a while. I feel like, but maybe that has something to do with the fact that the dungeons are. I'm trying to think of a game just like you with.
I think it's because they're rooted in the past, where what happened when JRPG started to go 3D with like Final Fantasy VII and beyond or whatever, is that they just sort of took that overhead map and just sort of like pulled it out instead of like rethought about the fact that we have 3 dimensions now. We could do a lot more with this space. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of like these flat corridors winding around where one side is a chest and the other side is the door to the next part of the dungeon.
But now you can see how tall the walls are.
Exactly, and that's what it feels like. And it's really bad in some modern games that sell really well, like the Tales of games has awful fucking dungeons, and it's mind-boggling.
It's weird,
and I'm going back to some of the greats, and it's almost always been the same.
My brain immediately jumped to like, I was like, oh, I'm sure some of the older Final Fantasies have great dungeon design. Then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I've never liked a Final Fantasy game for the dungeon design.
In Final Fantasy VIII, when you go and fight the brothers, that's a pretty cool dungeon.
Oh, the Minotaurs?
Yeah, the Minotaur
guys.
Sometimes you come across
cool.
like a dungeon that has like a really good gimmick or like a really solid overarching like puzzle, but
and that was kind of like a maze, right?
It was called like the labyrinth or the maze, something like that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like most hard dungeons equal mazes. Good luck, you know. And it's
that's what I was thinking. Like of like the and so don't get me wrong. It's been a long time since I've played Final Fantasy X, but I remember some of those shrines when you had the orbs and you had to solve the puzzles.
Those were kind of cool, but like when you think about it too,
but never like
those
happy. You're never happy when you're doing them.
Yeah. They really just boiled down to like the same. Like they were pretty, but they were just another series of corridors that you run down to. You find a chest and you double back. Like it's all pretty standard stuff.
But you know what could be considered a JRPG of sorts?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think like IGN or some site recently did their like favorite RPGs of all time, and you know what was in that?
Just say it, Brad.
Top 20, I think, or whatever. A Yakuza game.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, a Yakuza game is essentially
I would say
an
that's
RPG, and in fact, if it was in a fantasy setting and a sci-fi setting, you wouldn't even question it.
But it's not a traditional JRPG.
Well, it's not a traditional.
You started this by saying
turn-based.
You started this by saying traditional turn-based JRPGs.
Dude, I mean, shit. Even
there's random encounters.
Even the random encounter fights are just like these separate little. Like the only difference is that the actual combat system's brawling instead of like selecting menu options.
Yeah. If you had
True that.
Hey, but I've been playing Yakuza 6, and I say been playing Yakuza 6, but really, I've been spending time with the Yakuza 6 demo, which is essentially Yakuza 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it starts with the start of the game, and it at a certain point it locks you out of the main story, but there's still a lot you can do around the world, and it'll lock out like certain mini games. But for the most part, you're playing Yakuza. I've come across some sub stories and whatnot, and but this one's a little interesting because this is the first Yakuza game in a very long time. I think since Yakuza 3, which was the first PS3 game, or I guess technically that was the feudal one, but this is a new engine, and you can really tell it's a new engine.
Brad, you're just really messing with the physics and stuff in this game. Like, I saw you like bump into a car and like.
Yes, so that's the craziest thing about this new Yakuza thing is that they completely redid the engine and it's much more physics based, which is refreshing in a lot of ways because I guess a lot of us have played Yakuza 0 recently. It's real easy to get kind of like hung up on the environment, and as you're kind of running around, you just like stick to shit and you just will stop in place. But now everything feels a lot more fluid. Like objects that you would normally stop you before, you could just run right through them, right?
You're intentionally trying to run into everything,
I'm just I'm kind of showing off like the new physics and stuff. You don't really get hung up on stuff and walls anymore. You just run through it, and that's really nice. Also, this world it's seamless now. So you can go in and out of like buildings and stuff.
That's cool.
Seamlessly.
Yeah.
And like look at what I'm about to do. The thing I'm about to do would be unheard of in like an older Yakuza game, because everything is like, especially when you're on different levels, it's very like invisible wall-y, you know. It doesn't feel seamlessly and open and connected.
You're gonna jump down
like
into
it does
the batting
now.
cages.
Yeah,
He looks
well,
like he's
no,
about
I'm
to.
not.
He looks like he's like about to pass out going up the stairs.
Well, because I had been sprinting a bunch. That is the batting cages I'm looking down. But like that's like a real place that's there, and I could seamlessly walk into those batting cages for the first time. See, you couldn't do anything like that in a previous Yakuza game.
That animation was actually really nice.
Yeah. And now with that new physics and a new engine, there is some a healthy amount of jank to that. But let's talk about the combat some, because this is all seamless too now. There's that pop up, right? But it immediately goes into fighting, and there's no
they don't reposition the people on the
no. You can run around the entire city and people will just chase you, like as if you were playing like GTA or something. Before, you would have crowds that would kind of say, this is your space to like fight a fight. Now it's not like that. Now, you know, the fight could like seamlessly enter the middle of a ramen shop, because everything is like seamlessly open now. That's cool. Which is cool. And it's a really nice looking game. And I think more than ever before, like all the signage and stuff is really high, even more like detailed. Like you could see the stuff really well now. And one of the things that makes that even cooler is now there's like a first person mode. So especially when you're going into like shops and stuff, I'm going to go into some business over here and like take the fight into there just to show you the seamlessness. But going into first person, you can really see like it feels more immersive.
Yeah.
Because all the signage is a lot clearer now. And you know, I don't know. Especially when you're going into these shops and stuff in these stores, kind of looking around in first person. They've always done a really good job with like the branding and stuff, and it just feels so cool.
Is this supposed to be the same location?
It's always the same.
It's
location.
always Kamurocho.
It's all okay.
There's usually another like side area or city.
But like, do they continue? Do they always use the same like?
Yeah, same streets and everything.
Wow, that's kind of
yeah
interesting.
But you know,
doesn't get old after 16?
It gets more detailed. Well, in some respects, it does get old.
Because like when before you started going into detail about the new engine, I was looking at this like, this just looks like Yakuza 0, but like they built a new engine, but it's really just coming into play with the physics and shit. But like for the most part, it still looks like more Yakuza 0.
Yeah, but it's a new engine, and so it is nice to have things be really seamless and stuff now. But
to add to that, Brad, I was just going to say, Nick, and that's one of the reasons when I played Yakuza 0, Brad was like, don't play Kiwami like right afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, because if you try and like just bookend every Yakuza game, it's going to get super old super quick. Because you are in the same areas, and while there are different like stories and stuff, it's still just, it's going to feel very samey.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could play them back to back and just feel like you're playing one long game.
I will say there are some bumps with this new engine. There are some
rough edges, if you will. Is that a running shot?
There's some rough edges. Like the frame rate is nowhere near as good as it was in Yakuza 0.
I was going to ask you about that. It looked like the physics looked nice and the animations looked nice, but it looked like it was maybe chugging just a little bit.
Well, a little bit, and there's a lot of screen tearing. You know, issues that didn't exist with the previous engine.
You're not on a Pro though.
Well, okay.
How do you think? Well, Brad, I'm not being a dick. I'm just saying, do you think it would play better on the Pro?
I mean, maybe, but I'm saying there's issues going from PS4 Yakuza 0 to PS4 Yakuza 6.
Sure,
there is a noticeable downgrade in.
Well, that's like going from
performance.
Like, you know, I would say like.
It's like going from Dark Souls 2 remaster to Dark Souls 3.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because that was an engine that was older and polished by the time they remastered Yakuza 6 on PS4. While Dark Souls 3 was all a new, you know, engine or a new take, so it wasn't as polished. But
hold on, quick question, Brad.
Yeah,
I've played Yakuza 0 and a little bit of the original Yakuza, and I started Kiwami.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time when you're leveling up Kiryu and it affects his tattoos? That would be cool.
I don't think so, but I'm glad you brought that up because we should talk about that. This has almost every Yakuza game tries to do something a little new when it comes to leveling up and experience and skills and stuff. This one, I feel like it is the most, like it is the smartest leveling up experience system that I've seen for a Yakuza game specifically, because one of the big things about Yakuza are these very like authentic locations with authentic like food and dining, and there's always these shops that have all different kinds of food, right? And it's always seems like a photo. It always seems like a big deal to the developer, but for the first time, it ties into your experience. Like you get different types of experience from just eating. From eating and like going to like fight afterwards, or like fighting would give you certain types of experience. Karaoke will give you certain types of experience, and you'll have various experience meters that fill up based on like what you're eating, what you're doing, how much you're fighting, and the different things you can level up require like certain amount of points from each of those pools. Like if you're just trying to level up your attack, you're going to be able to get that experience just from fighting, right?
Yeah.
But your other stats or whatever, you see those 5 colored, those are 5 different experience pools. That's my stomach, because you get hungry now. Well, so now you have food tying into a hunger meter, you have food tying into experience growth. Now it seems like something that is more tied to character growth and progression, and just that the loop of playing Yakuza, while before it almost seemed like a kind of thing where, well, I just did it just because it's cool, but
so I can look at all the delicious food.
You don't get experience from using health items. So now you're encouraged to eat more instead of just spamming health items.
That's awesome, because like playing Zero, I'm just thinking about like how
Go ahead, but look.
Playing Zero, I was just thinking about how like there's all these different bars you can go to, and you go to like this tiny little bar somewhere, and they'll have like 10 different varieties of like whiskey and scotch from around the world, and like they get really like in detail about what it is. Like they're all real brands from real places, and they have like little profiles for each of them. Like, oh, this one tastes like, but I don't do any of that stuff because it doesn't like feed into the loop.
Not just that, you get bonus experience from making a meal that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
like if you pick
pairings and stuff.
Yeah, different pairings, you get bonus experience. Like if you have like a steak with like a wine and like a salad or whatever, you get bonus experience. Not just that, there's a whole like gym system. You hire a personal trainer and go work out and stuff, and after you work out, your trainer will give you like a meal plan, and if you follow that meal plan after you leave the gym, you get bonus experience from that as well. And you actually pull out your phone and take a picture and send it to your personal trainer, and they're almost like he doesn't like explicitly tell you what to get. He's saying, oh, get some red meat that's like both high in this and
so you have to kind of guess what.
So you have to kind of figure out, okay, what does he really want me to eat here and stuff.
Hold the phone,
and if you nail it, you take the picture, you send it, you get bonus experience.
Hold the phone, Brad.
Yeah.
This sounds to me like you're telling me I should start with this game.
Okay, shut up and listen.
Wait, hold on. Can you send your personal trainer a dick pic?
I don't know. Here's a sub quest where I go.
This is where it begins. This is a sub quest where I do this.
This guy is going to teach me the ways of online chat.
Nice.
And it's funny because when he types, he's like real slow.
Like, of course he is. Yeah, of course.
Of course he is. But in the main game, this is actually a mini game where you see a live action woman. And like in a chat room, and you're like typing in the chat, like girls? Like cam girls. What? But it's not in the demo. It's specifically locked out. And if you look at the counter, it's saying, you got to get the full version of the game. But like it's an actual live chat mini game.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Cam girls, that's how they get you.
And if you look at the things, it's like, oh, say she's cute or whatever. And you'll see a moment here in a second where it's like show me more in his reaction or whatever. But it's really funny. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows because I feel like the new physics system is kind of makes combat really awkward and almost kind of glitchy now because you're dealing with like physics collision that you've never had to deal with before. And one of the moves that you do like a lot is pick up a guy and kind of swing him around and like throw him at a group of dudes. And sometimes that can lead to like cool physics stuff, like kicking a guy into another group of dudes will like knock them all down, and that's cool, right? But half the time, when you're swinging a dude, you clip anything, you'll immediately just drop them. So you'll have these awkward animations where like imagine like throwing a baseball and just dropping it behind you before you throw it. Yeah. It's like that, but with a dude. So it leads to like these really awkward things where it just doesn't quite do what you want it to do, and it's growing pains of a new engine.
Sounds like it could be frustrating because there's a lot of brawls where it's like you're in a little alleyway or something, and you pick up a sign, and you just start swinging it around, and like in the old games, it would just go through the walls. It was like and
the camera seems a little more awkward too.
I'm wondering if they're going
to have issues with that.
But I wonder if they're going to patch anything. Well, I guess it's been out in Japan for a while.
Oh yeah, no, this would be a patched version.
Yeah, this is like the final version.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
In fact, and this is maybe a little more exciting, but Kiwami 2 uses this engine, and I think by the time Kiwami 2 was out and patched, that one's a little more smoother around the edges with this new engine.
What is the delay between Japan and the West for these releases go?
It's
Because
usually
you're talking
about
about
a year
Kiwami
and a
2
half.
and you're like, it's already out, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's usually about a year and a half.
Wow.
But the crazy thing is, the Yakuza team, there has been more Yakuza games made by the Yakuza team. I don't know if they have multiple teams. I don't think they do. Maybe they do. There's been more Yakuza games than there has been years since the first Yakuza.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Because the first one was, 2008?
And these, but these games
so it's
aren't
been 10 years.
These aren't small games.
Yeah. No, they're not.
No. I think the first one
But that's
in
also
Japan was like 2006.
2005 or 2006. Yeah.
But that
the
also
first
might
one,
be,
sorry.
Thanks to the fact like we talked about before, where they are using the same map and like having that kind of already established.
You don't have to think about, what am I going to do in this area? You just already know.
Yeah. But it's been. Oh, also, this is the first Yakuza game that's fully voiced, and like including sub stories and everything. So
it's fully voiced in Japanese.
Yeah, in Japanese.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But like, there's no more. There's no more like clicking through.
Can
text
you close
boxes.
your eyes and just listen?
No, but that's not what I'm talking about.
If you speak Japanese,
whether or not you understand it.
The reason I say that is because there's always been this awkward blend of going from like fully cinematic voiced cutscene, which looks like fucking movie grade, to him just talking on the phone and going through text boxes and sub stories. But now everything is voiced, even sub stories, so you can kind of more or less just put down the controller and it all auto plays.
I'm not sure what happened, but somewhere along the line, fairly recently, I feel like this became a real sticking point for Brad. Not saying that's not.
It's a presentation thing.
I've been doing this podcast with you for 10 years, and I feel like this conversation only started happening fairly recently.
No. It's a presentation thing. I mean, it's just I think the reason it's more recent is because as like the fidelity of graphics have got more refined, and like animations have gotten more realistic or whatever, when you start to see like avatars moving like humans and interacting like humans in higher def, and then there's nothing coming out of their face, it's that juxtaposition is getting weirder. Like, I always give this example, but remember in Skyward Sword, when like fucking Fee, the sword spirit would come out, there'd be a point in that game where she sings songs, but since there's no voice, it's just her going,
yeah.
and it's weird. It's weird. You didn't have that issue before graphics got and animations got like that.
Yeah.
So
someone should
how
gift
much
that,
of how much of a character's personality is conveyed in tone and voice.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I was playing Suikoden 5 yesterday, which is a PS2 game, and it has so much more effort, like put into like voice work, and there's the amount of voice work, but the quality of voice work is so much better than something like No Kuni 2.
Sure.
Can we transition?
Yeah.
Let's because you have another game to talk about. Let's kind of jump back and forth.
Well, I want to say, because Ni no Kuni 2, that brings up a good point. I want to just briefly talk about that because I have been playing it, and I actually casted it the other day, but I stopped. And this was a conversation I had with chat while I was playing. Was about voice acting. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to like say every game has to be voice acted, but there is a severe reduction in the voice acting in 2 compared to the original.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because there's like so many cutscenes that I think are like important to the story that aren't voiced, and I've actually recently started encountering some that are voiced, and I'm like, why the fuck was this cutscene voiced?
Yeah,
or this other important one that I think has way more to do with the story.
It's far more jarring when they go back and forth other than just committing to one way or the other.
It's often introduction of like characters for the first time,
correct?
And it feels very PS1, where like all of a sudden you'll like go into an area where a new character is, and you'll see like a little 10-second like, hey, I'm Bob, you know, and he'll do like a little
Bob.
animation, and then it'll immediately go to just dudes standing around and no voices.
Correct.
It's super PS1.
Yeah.
And like it kind of started getting on my nerves when I was casting it the other day, and it's mainly just because I think if you're not going to do voice acting, why I don't really like when you spend a lot of time going on and on about nothing.
Yeah.
Like when there's a character who will talk for 5 minutes in something that could have been said in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They just kind of like, and like, why are you making me read all this shit? Like for me,
They're not very
it's-
concise with their dialogue.
well, yeah, but for me, it's not like it's not getting anywhere. I'm not developing a relationship with that character. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I'm getting anything
The
out
conversation or the dialogue that you're hearing or reading is not doesn't have much impact.
of them. Correct,
or
and I
purpose.
do think if it was voiced, I would care a little bit more because I'd be able to hear their inflections and hear when they actually, you know what I'm saying, when they're talking about something.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't. I'm trying to remember exactly the conversation I was having with chat when I was casting it the other day. But it seemed like there were times where it's like it seems we would enter a new area, and the main character would say something,
Yeah.
and then some other character would say something, and then some other character would say something. And I'm like, are they just saying things so I'm reminded that they're there?
That they
because
exist?
they didn't add anything to the conversation. And like the problem is the way that the text dialogue is handled. It like Evan, is that his name? Evan?
Yeah, Evan.
Evan will say something, and then he'll kind of pause on him for a second, and then he'll switch over to Roland, and then half a second later his text will come up. And then he'll go, and then he'll stop, and then half a second later, and it's just this like,
it's infuriating.
yeah, and
Awkward.
I'm like, come the fuck, speed the shit up.
Is
like,
there not an option to like speed up those dialogue
No.
boxes?
And so like, I mean, you can like X and stuff, but it'll still like it takes a couple of
But
seconds.
that's dangerous too, because I'll be doing that sometimes and then just skip dialogue.
Exactly.
Like, fuck.
That is called filler.
Oh yeah, no, I understand it's
Padding.
filler,
But it's not filler.
But the
it's
problem,
like
it's
main
like,
story stuff.
yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
talking about. It happens during the main
They
story.
don't have much of a main story.
Well, yeah.
Is what I mean.
And so the other thing that kind of happened was I entered a new town for the first time, and I was like, oh, like this could be exciting, and the place was really boring, and the way they delivered, like, and this is like when I was talking about it when I was casting the other day, but you can definitely see Studio Ghibli not being involved in this
Oh, yeah.
one. Like it is 100% apparent now. Like, you know, you would think like if you entered a new town. So for example, this is one that's a town on the sea. I think like an island almost maybe. But so like, you know, normally in most games that are good, there's like a cutscene as you enter the town, and especially a Studio Ghibli game or like that style, you'd think that when they enter the town there'd be like an anime cutscene because they're sailing on a ship,
Yeah.
and you would think you'd see them on the ship and maybe one be like standing on the rail, like, oh, look at that, and it would cut to like a wide shot of the ship and them looking, and then it would cut to the town and you'd see the town,
Yeah.
and it kind of pan over and stuff, and
Seagulls.
you hear the seagulls and all this stuff. So what happens in this game is you see the ship for about 2 seconds, kind of still animation, and then they're standing off the ship in the town. And I was just like, what?
Oh, there's no flair.
Exactly. Like I don't care. Like where is like make me care about this town?
Dude, that was my favorite. Like growing up, the reason why I latched onto RPGs in the first place was because I still do. I still love exploring worlds and whatnot. But it was always about getting to that next place and seeing those beautiful cutscenes and those beautiful like.
And so the
very
next thing that
pleasant,
happened was the music in the town, and I think it was almost causing me to go to sleep. It was very like kind of somber and kind of boring, and just kind of this tone that also kind of didn't go, like the loop was a little too short in my opinion. And so like we're exploring this town, and like one of the first things is they're like, oh, hey, we're here to meet the queen of this town because I've established my kingdom and I'd like to have a relationship
Yeah.
with this one. And like the guard's like, fuck off. Pretty much. He
Quote,
doesn't
unquote.
actually say that. Yeah.
Word for word.
So we're like, oh, well, let's find out more about the queen. And as I start to go around and talk to people, and they're like, oh, she's not that great. Like, and it kind of starts to like, you know, have all this stuff. And I believe the order was like the guard told me to fuck off, and then there's like a cutscene of the queen, and she's like being a bitch to someone. And then I go through the town, and people tell me she's not that great. And then there's like another like cutscene of them text talking about like, oh, maybe this isn't that great. And I just kind of had like a talk with chat, and I was like, guys, like, this probably would have been a lot better if we showed up to the town. Then it was kind of like happy-go-lucky, and it's this nice port town, and you have some music going. I'm thinking of like Fisherman's Wharf or whatever from Final Fantasy VIII, where it's like, it's some good music, and then I start talking to people and
then
finding out.
Juxtapose that with the fact that, and then some people start talking about the queen, and you see her, she's a bitch,
and then maybe the music shifts into a different tone, but like none of that's there.
There's no nuance.
It's got a
to
real
it.
presentation issue all around,
and I don't know if I just kind of had some
inconsistent one.
had some just like some fucking rose tinted glasses or some shit when I started this game, but like the more I've been playing it, I'm like, man.
But you know what's crazy? Like fully voiced, like if you have a cast of characters that is like with quality banter, like going back and forth, and is commenting on the surroundings. You could have like a modern Tales of game has severe issues in terms of presentation and budget, right? With like some of the environments and the dungeons and the towns,
sure,
but they always know like the voice acting and the writing, and it makes it come to life. And this game doesn't have that either. So it doesn't even have that. So it's got a problem.
Let's not trash it too much because I still am excited to play it. I don't want to be like,
I'm not hating
trash, dumpster.
But I definitely
throw it in the fire.
I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time.
And so this was the conversation I had with chat was like, guys, like I want to play this because it's a new game. I like to play the games that come out this year, so it could be a contender for Game of the Year. Yeah. And so I like to play them. But like the other day when I was casting, I was like, honestly, I'd rather be playing this other game that didn't come out this year. And I'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's just like, it sucks that like this other game's kind of better.
You're also playing Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. That's cool.
I don't think that's what he was going for.
No.
Well, before no one talks about the other game that he mentioned, let's bring it back over to Brad for a second. Yeah. You have another new game. Or is that new?
Well, it's in early access. Which is crazy,
access.
Right? Because I've been playing Dusk, which is in early access. I don't typically play a lot of early access games, or I usually am kind of shit-talking it, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason I'm committed to playing early access for Dusk is because of the way they're doing it. And it's a very old school style of, we put out an episode of this game, and not like a traditional episodic, but like an episode of Doom or an episode of Quake. This is I think when it comes out like officially out of early access, they're going to have 3 episodes, but 2 episodes are done and you can play those. So it's not like they're going to add anything new to the content of this game that's already out. They're just going to add more of it.
More episodes or whatever.
So I don't feel like I'm playing a lesser game by playing what's available now.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, no, and that's a very different approach to early access.
Because basically 2/3 of the game is already out. Like back in the day with these old school shooters, of which this is a throwback to old school shooters.
Yeah, looks like Duke Nukem or Doom or
with shareware. You could play the first episode of Doom or Duke 3D or Quake or whatever, and then you would buy the rest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of structured like that, where each episode is on like 10 levels and a boss, right? Or and there's some mini bosses along the way. So this is the reason I'm excited about this versus what you typically see these days, which you do see a lot of kind of old school throwbacks to 90s shooters. That they seem to be missing an element of 90s shooters that I really love. The element that I think makes in my opinion 90s shooters better than the shooters that are coming out today, and that's that it actually has like level design. It's not a fucking roguelike, it's not a wave based thing, it's not just a run and gun. These are even though I am fighting a lot of dudes in the open at the start of this level, this is a level with like really intricate Can
I ask a question that was also posed by a chat member?
Hold on. There's lots of intricate design in terms of like the spaces that like they're very labyrinthine. There's lots of secrets. I feel like good secrets are the core of what made like Doom era or 90s era shooters good. Because they were about exploration and exploring.
You were rewarded for exploring.
You were rewarded for exploring, and good secrets were actually really clever.
That's also what made Doom like 2016 so remarkable.
To an extent. I mean, maybe not to as full of an extent as a good.
But the fact that it had the elements of that at all in this day and age was
absolutely.
But with like a modern take on it was like really cool.
I agree with you. I love the new Doom, and that's largely the reason why is because so I saw a crack in the wall there. I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
I'm moving kind of fast, so even though this is a kind of an old school throwback, it's a little more physicsy and reactive than what you saw from shooters back then, while still feeling like basically it feels like Quake 1.
Yeah.
And I fucking love Quake 1, and I'm glad that I am playing this shooter that has, it moves like that. It's very fast, and you're fighting lots of dudes, but it has good, varied level design.
And the shooting
like you're often hitting switches and going, I wonder what this opened,
Yeah.
and really kind of digging down and like finding that stuff and feeling like you really fucking explored really good, but getting to the end of the stage and it's saying, well, you only found 2 of the 5 secrets.
Dude.
And you're like, motherfucker.
You know what?
Like, I combed that so good. And that's the sign of like really impressive 90s level
And you know
design.
what? This for me, like, I dabbled in Doom, when I was younger. I didn't play a whole bunch of it, and I played Duke Nukem, but like for me, and I didn't even realize this until I replayed it last year, but like my exposure to this exact same like design philosophy you're talking about and like the satisfying level design was actually like Turok 2.
Yeah, sure.
Turok 2 has like exactly what you just described, and I love it for that exact reason.
Which is why I've always talked about shit about Turok because it was. It was 64, and like 64 had like really poor controls, and it had some tech issues with like fog and stuff, obviously. But yeah, I mean, Turok is a 90s, shooter through and through, and I really miss that kind of stuff. And I feel like this is the first one to come around in a long time for me that isn't like acting like they're a 90s shooter, but really isn't. It's really like fucking Strafe is a fucking joke. Like, fuck you. This is not why people love Doom, just because there's a lot of things to shoot. You missed the fucking point, dumbasses.
I do have a question.
Wow.
And this was actually posed by a member in chat as well.
Take that personally.
What are the enemies in this game? Because they look like they could be cultists or like KKK members. Like I can't.
Well, cultists, sure. Yeah.
I can't really tell.
They're cultists, and
Okay.
and there's like
Are you saying the KKK isn't a cult?
Oh, I guess that's a good point.
yeah. So
That's not what I was saying. No.
So Dusk, I think it's like $20 now or $15, and 2 episodes are done, so you can play them. And
how long is each episode?
I'm guessing about 10 levels, I think. But the levels are
beefy
you
and a lot of stuff to discover.
spend a lot of time in there, kind of exploring them, and it's just fun to move
What's
around.
the word
also,
on that?
there's if you crouch while moving, you go really fast, so it's like you're sliding on your knees, but it's like really fast.
That's what I thought you were doing earlier. I'm like,
Yeah.
did you slide or
It was what I
You're
was doing
fucking.
earlier.
You're pulling a Vanquish.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But it's almost too fast that I don't really use it.
What's the word on that other game that looks like kind of like it's trying to do the same thing here? What's it? Iron Maiden? Is that?
So that is actually made by like 3D Realms. So they're like the guys that made Duke 3D back in the day and other build engine games. So it's funny that they're just doing another one in an old engine, using like the build engine. But yeah, from what I understand, it is this style of game where they're actually just making an old first-person shooter. That's an early access. I don't know what kind of early access. I think it might just be like a couple of levels or something.
Yeah.
But and I also don't know how good that is. It's funny because if you hit reload, there's no reload. 'Cause obviously, it's an old shooter.
Sure.
So he just kind of flips the guns around when you hit reload for no reason.
Nice little
I was
effect.
just
That's how you reload.
I was just cycling through those
You
animations.
flip the gun. That's how you reload. That's science.
Yeah, also a sign of a good old shooter is you have really cool like traps and stuff, or like they call them kind of monster closets back in the day, but it's when portions of the level like enemies that weren't there before kind of get triggered and like pop out, but like doing that really good is a very good 90s shooter thing, and I always kind of took offense when people acted like Serious Sam or like Painkiller was like old Doom. That I feel like that's when people sort of started to forget what really made 90s shooters good, and it became just associated with just fast running gun, lots of enemies and stuff. But there was always more to it than that, and I'm just glad that Dusk, the game we're talking about here, is really kind of nailed that.
That is,
90s
it does
vibe.
look
And
pretty cool.
It's fun to play.
And I do like their approach to early access. So that's neat.
Sliding around.
Good shit. Good shit.
Recommend it.
Looks good.
Because even though it's early access, it's basically 2/3 are just out there.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change.
Cool. Cool. How are we doing on time in this first segment? Do we have time for another game?
I think so.
Probably so. All right. So Nolan,
What's up, Nick?
you played a game
I did.
that I'm a fan of.
I think you liked it.
I did.
Yeah.
You played Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
What do you?
So
I'm bracing myself.
All right. So I've been wanting to play this game for a long ass time. It was one of those things where last year, towards the end of the year, I really wanted to start it up, but I knew there was a bunch of other games that I could have gotten through quicker.
Yep.
And so I chose the.
Without a doubt.
I would rather play a bunch more games than one.
I know what you're gonna say. Okay. Yeah, I saw the doc. Sorry.
Oh,
I was trying to figure it out, but I figured it out.
He didn't hear me say the name of the game already.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
Did you just say it?
Yes.
You did.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I was
Brad.
paying attention.
Yeah, normal.
Green check.
But yeah, and so I'd been waiting for it to go on sale on PC because I wanted to
Yeah.
play it on PC because I knew it would run better than on console, whatever. It just never fucking went on sale on PC. I saw it on consoles for like $30, like all the time.
Yeah.
PC's always like the lowest I saw it go was like maybe 45.
Isn't this on Steam?
It is, but I have it on Uplay.
Oh.
Wait, so are you playing on PC?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a sale this past weekend on Razer.
Razer?
Yeah, you know the gaming they create like
Yeah.
mice and keyboards and stuff. Well, they're dabbling in the game selling. They don't have their own like utility, but they're having their
Yeah.
own like store where they sell games. And I got it for like $28.
Oh,
and it also came with a $15 code for their store, minimum $30 purchase. So if anyone out there wants that. I don't want it.
Wait. Could I get this for cheaper, or how does that work?
Maybe I don't know.
For their store?
Yeah,
as long as you buy an item that's $30 or more, you get $15 off.
Yeah,
But could I buy this?
maybe. Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not?
Why not?
Why not?
Well, because I've been thinking about playing this, but maybe actually
It's over 30.
Maybe just the tour mode.
Yeah.
Oh, just a tour.
So anyway, so let's talk about Assassin's Creed Origins because Nick talked about it quite a bit last year, and I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention. I thought I
What the
was.
fuck?
I thought I was because I remember Nick. Hey, I tweeted about it, and I was like, I know Nick really loved it because I know him. He talked a lot about it, and he talked about it in a positive light.
I was blue in the face.
Yeah, I know. This game's really fucking good.
Yes, yes, it is.
Like,
Is it
holy
not
shit.
easily the best game mechanically in the series?
It's pretty fucking good.
I've not heard every impression I've heard about this game has been really good,
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's just I think people were kind of like over Assassin's Creed for a while.
I think so.
So like people weren't really shouting.
This is
from the
absolutely
rooftops.
though what the series needed.
Well, so and Brad, that's a lot of the feedback I got too because I tweeted and I asked about it. I was like, "Hey, who has thoughts about this game?" And a lot of people were like, "Hey, the past couple of games haven't been great, but this one's good." And so I wasn't worried that it was just better than bad. So that was one of the reasons I was kind of worried about it. But now that I've played it for I don't know, maybe like 15 hours, it's actually really fucking good.
I see they play Destiny.
Yeah, it definitely does. The UI does that. But just what, like it's the little things that honestly make this game really good. The horse or camel, like your mount, is fucking great. Like you call it, it shows up. And then you press a waypoint, and then you hold the button, and he'll just run towards the waypoint.
Yep.
And so you can do other things. You can put the controller down and do something else. You can summon Sinu, the bird, to look around, to scout up ahead.
While you're going.
That's cool. That's fucking awesome. I love that I can scout ahead for enemies before I even get there, and mark them. Some of the like Brad, this game was 100% voice acted. Everything,
well, of
every
course.
side quest, everything.
But like a modern Western game, of course.
Brad, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Coming off of Ni no Kuni to this, that the most minor fucking like side quest is like voiced, whereas like the main story of Ni no Kuni isn't.
Yeah.
Is like frustrating. Where it's like I know I can go and play this, and some lady's gonna complain that her husband's cheating on her, and I get to hear every fucking like word of it.
And I don't know how much of the world you've explored yet. But
Probably
like,
not enough.
Well,
So-
no, like the map in this game is
No. So
absolutely-
I've zoomed out, and even though I've explored quite a bit, holy shit, there's still so much I haven't even touched
Dude,
yet.
when I-
Which is one of my fears with this game because it's so fucking big.
Well, I spent about 60 hours with the game total, and when I finished like the main story, it was probably like 45 hours or something like that. And by the time I got to that point, there were still like 5 or 6 regions of the map that I hadn't even been to yet.
Yeah.
So like,
So I just got
huge.
to Alexandria.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like that was one of the things I was also worried about this game because even when I played it at E3, I wasn't super impressed with what I saw. But I guess that's just because
I fumbled with the
well, I did fumble with the
the
controller as well. Now that I started from the beginning, I have the controls down. Oh my god, some of the fucking vistas in this game. Alexandria is a beautiful fucking city. And I've only explored a fraction of it, and I want to explore more.
This is the best world they've created. Without a doubt.
It's great. Like I was worried because my favorite games in this series so far was the Ezio trilogy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still. I mean, I like Black Flag because it's not an Assassin's Creed game. It's a pirate game. That's what I like about it. But the Ezio trilogy is always my favorite, and that was always because I had a fondness for the characters, but also the setting, Rome, ancient Rome. The architecture that was there. The first time you climb on the Colosseum and stuff like that. And this, I was like, what's in Egypt? And that's kind of maybe just a lack of my own knowledge. But I'm like, the pyramids, like the Sphinx, like what else? Like what else?
Yes,
are you talking about?
yes.
The Nile River.
And so that's what I was worried about. But now that I've been playing it, like I said, I fucking Alexandria. As soon as I got there, I was like, oh my god,
fucking Alexandria. That's that band you like.
Asking
Right?
Alexandria. Not fucking Alexandria.
And so I spent like the last half hour of my cast on Tuesday was just me going around Alexandria to the synchronization points, just so I could explore the city and look around. And I think this game nailed wall climbing.
Yep.
Like it's just like it's
good.
It's almost like a Link to the Past. It's almost like Breath of the Wild that you can climb anything, but you can't climb anything. I would say you can climb like 90% of the things in this game.
Yeah.
There's still a few things that they kind of almost make it puzzly, where you can only climb on certain things.
Do you ever accidentally hop out from the wall?
No. It's so much better than it was.
You feel way more in control of the character in this game than you would ever have in the series.
Combat's damage numbers. Combat's completely different.
That I heard's a little divisive. People,
I'm sure some people don't like it. Some people probably do. I'm not 100% on it yet. I mean, you have heavy attacks, you have light attacks, you have your,
when you start to experiment with different kinds of weapons too, it starts to.
You don't have stamina, do you?
I
Well, so if you can have a certain number of swings, and then you kind of have to recover. You can't constantly be swinging. There are many different weapon types that completely change how combat works. Dual swords versus scythes versus heavy weapons versus spears, mace. They completely have a different style of combat.
There's 4 or 5 different kinds of bows and arrows that all work totally different.
You have a bow that's just like a simple bow. You have one that you fucking do lightning arrow, just rapid fire arrows. There's one that
and they each have their own. You can find the same bow and arrow in 10 different places in the game, and each one has different attributes, even though it's the same bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be able to fire off more arrows at
once, they have different stats. This one adds more adrenaline.
One does more damage than the other, even though it's the same bow.
Holy shit. There's a lot in this game, and I'm almost worried for myself, just because I've been enjoying it a lot.
I heard that they put out quite a bit of DLC, and that's
they
supposed
have.
to be really good
it's
too.
cool. And some of the special events they do are really fun too, like the big bosses and stuff.
They have timed events and stuff. Yeah.
Recommended too when you start to get out into the deserty area. Spend some time just walking around and staying out of the shadows and whatnot, and you'll start to hallucinate from the heat, and you can see some crazy shit.
Yeah,
crazy shit.
Side quests are good in this game.
A lot of
some people have even kind of compared it to The Witcher 3.
Absolutely.
This is one of those side quests where this guy was accused of stealing a lion's pelt that from his I don't remember exactly who it was, his master or something like that. And he didn't actually steal it. It was he was transporting or something. He got jumped and it got stolen from him, and so he got arrested. And I had to go and that was me kind of fucking.
Strangely enough, that's the mission I did at E3.
Oh, okay.
And failed.
Oh yeah. But here's an example of combat. Me doing those are heavy attacks, and then if I can do some light attacks, I think towards the end I do some. I got fucking.
I'm glad it's different because I was really, really over Assassin's Creed combat.
Sure.
No, I was.
And I was also very worried from E3 about Bayek, because I didn't really get to see too much of him, but I have kind of been enjoying him as a character.
He's pretty good. I specifically like him and his wife.
I haven't even met his wife yet.
Oh, you haven't?
His wife is dope.
Yeah, that's what everyone in chat's like. Oh,
they are a great.
I found her house
pair of characters,
and some mischief had happened there, and I didn't know what. But then I have.
There's some cool shit with their story, but
I'm excited to play
they're
more.
both cool characters individually, but when they come together and they're sharing dialogue and whatnot, they're great. They're fantastic. Easily some of my favorite characters in the series since Ezio.
I mean, this is definitely.
I heard his son's kind of lifeless though.
God damn it,
Brad.
Brad.
I will say
Brad's a father, and he's over here making
yeah.
fucking face.
There's a lot going on in the game. The skill tree, I haven't yet decided how much I like it yet. It seems like there's not too many skills. But maybe it's just as you level up slower, the higher you get, so you have less points. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how.
I mean, I'm playing on PC, so loading times are fucking great, which I love. So because I can easily fast travel like across this huge fucking map. I was.
Damn it! You got this on Uplay, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you can't share it, Brad. Sorry. And so I was ashamed of myself because I probably spent a good 2 hours just running around hunting animals to get their skins.
Dude,
so
that's what I'm doing in Far Cry 5. I was spending so much time hunting in the woods, mostly to get away from the cultists.
Oh yeah, but so the thing is, this game definitely is a Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
There are plenty of microtransactions, but thankfully that's on like a screen off to the side you don't even have to look at. I will say
and this game is plenty fun
without I will say that they do give you 200 free Helix credits, which I immediately used to get a pack of like a bunch of animal skins.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, 40 of like each of these, that'll last forever. It was like 3 upgrades, if even.
Not so much.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I'm gonna keep playing it. I don't want to say I'm mad that I didn't play it last year. It probably would have been on my top 10 list. But like I said, I'm glad that I played a bunch of other games instead of probably sinking like 100 hours into this.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask something? Have y'all heard much about the the art history tour mode?
Oh,
they released like a $20 version of this game that has the entire world, but they've removed the game from it.
What?
And instead,
you just get to
all
explore.
over the world, there's like dozens and dozens of like tours you can go on where it's like fully voiced by like art historians and like real historians, and you can look at and it kind of takes you through these automated tours throughout the world.
Interesting.
I've heard
and
that.
it's like and it's made almost for like educational purpose, even to the point where
I will
they
say
censor...
that a lot of that content is in the game itself. Like they will give you like if when you go to certain places, you can find like documents that contain like some information. This game is a fucking here's like a pro and a con. The loading screens load really fast because I'm on PC, but they have a really good information in like their tooltips, and I love that this is a game unlike many other games that are even modern, where it'll give you like I can't remember what there's a reason, maybe Far Cry, where it's like during loading screens it'll give you like 3 tooltips and that's it.
Yeah, and
that's all it'll give you. This you can just keep scrolling through tooltips over and over, and it's not always tooltips about the game. Sometimes like try doing this in the game, and sometimes it's like in ancient Egypt, blah blah blah, like just like random historical facts.
The thing, that is really cool. The thing is the tour mode that Brad's mentioning.
I know that's a little bit different.
It's like literally presented in such like as if you were going to a museum and like hearing like one of those automated things like talk to you about.
But
like
there's
cool.
like a ton. It's like hundreds of things. I think maybe not that much, but like there's like so much to.
There are
learn.
a lot
like,
of landmarks.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
And it's that I almost kind of just want to play that.
Yeah.
I want to try it out
because it's the whole world.
Yeah. I would be curious just to hear about that too. So
that's interesting.
But yeah, cool. I'm glad you're liking it.
Does it have competitive multiplayer?
It does not.
No.
I don't think.
But you know what?
That back.
You know what? As much as that kind of sucks,
because Spy Party's out tomorrow.
Also, I think it is. Buy it now. It goes up in price. $15.
You mean Spy Party?
Yes, Spy Party. Yeah, if you, I think the official release date it goes up $15. So get it.
That's going into early access.
Sorry, it's early access, but it's the full
which
game.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Yes, early access. 8 years.
We've been playing it for almost as long as we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I was playing it the other day because I'm an original beta tester, and Chris Hecker emailed every beta tester and was like, "Hey."
Apparently, I'm also a beta tester because I got that email too, and I was like, "I forgot I was a beta tester."
Is it out now?
No, he was like, "Hey, please jump on the server at this time because I'm trying to do a fucking network test." And also, I was about to buy the game. And then he sent that email that was like, by the way, I will let you know how you can link this to your Steam account so you don't have to like buy the game. But don't get me wrong, I would probably still buy it because I would
because like, Spy Party's dope.
We gotta do some dual streams,
dude. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Now that it's looking,
it does look really
awesome.
good now. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we need to take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we got a couple more impressions. We got some news, and of course, we'll answer some questions from our Patreon supporters. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's time for news. I know we have a few more impressions we'll do in a little bit, but Brad's got to leave soon, so I know he wanted to be here for some of the news topics we were going to discuss today, so why don't we jump straight into news? I'm going to let Chris Davis just pick them off. So we have like 4 or 5 of them today, I believe. And we're going to start with... this is an interesting one. Square Enix today, or not today, because...
it was a couple days ago.
They released a patch for Chrono Trigger on Steam. We talked about that a few weeks ago when they released it, and that was kind of a shit show of a release. It was basically the mobile...
really bad. Like a really bad...
I mean,
like
it's the mobile version.
The mobile version already sucked, but this was like a really awkward shoehorning of that crappy mobile version into a PC.
Yep.
And yeah, oh god. Oh, it's really bad, right?
Atrocious, which sucks because I was also like, as someone who's never played Chrono Trigger, I was like, ooh, maybe now is the time. And then I was like, nope, don't do it. But they've patched the game with the original SNES graphics,
but also some of like the SNES UI and stuff, and they made some changes to make it a lot more visually pleasing, and they're planning to do more patches for Chrono Trigger.
I would certainly hope so. Have you checked out some of the screenshots of like the new versus the old?
Oh yeah, it's looking better. I mean, it's still
not quite there, right? Like I shouldn't pull the trigger on this.
Well,
still,
I mean,
right?
maybe see what these other patches are gonna be, but I think ultimately the reason I think this is newsworthy is not just because Chrono Trigger is whatever one of the greatest RPGs of all time, and it's still not easy to like get. It's not on the SNES Classic. You can't get it on even the 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah,
you
basically have to go find
it was on WiiWare, but WiiWare is officially you can't add points, so it's gone.
I'm pretty mad at myself for getting rid of the DS cartridge.
The DS version's good, but the DS version I think is getting up there in price maybe or harder to find. So to have a nice Steam version was great. But
does this version include the new like anime cutscenes and shit that they did for
it? I think they're adding some of that stuff back in. I don't actually know, to be honest.
I think
some of that might be planned. The mobile version has it?
I think so.
Has what?
The anime cutscenes.
I think so. PS1.
Maybe someone in chat knows. I don't know for sure.
The reason I think this is significant is because Square Enix has been doing this for a very long time.
Oh yeah, this is not new.
Like really shoddy mobile ports, like Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 also have these awful looking, versions on Steam that no one should ever play.
But Brad,
I wonder. But this is them finally listening, and caring, which is new for them. And I think this could be a start to them maybe doing this for the other games too. Like we could get a definitive version of Final Fantasy 6 and 5 and 4 on Steam,
so
which is
actually
fucking
play that game.
Amazing, right? Because I have a SNES Classic and that is Final Fantasy 6, but that's still the Super Nintendo version of Final Fantasy 6.
Just put both those games on the Switch. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That would
on
be
the Switch?
Yeah, dude. That would be so great.
Don't cross your fingers there.
Brad,
here's
the thing. Here's the thing.
Thinking.
In my opinion, Nintendo tried to do the Virtual Console on the Wii and the Wii U, but it was kind of shitty. The Switch would be an amazing console platform for Virtual Console.
The Virtual Console, ultimately, by the end of the life time of the Wii, had added like a ton of really good shit.
No, don't get me wrong. There's good shit there, but you have to play it on the Wii.
Yeah.
I'm saying, Nintendo's best start implementing pay the subscription for online.
Yeah.
If they do something similar to like PlayStation, where you have to pay this monthly fee and then you can maybe get access to some virtual, like that would make them a bunch of money.
But their online stuff is like $20 a year. That's so cheap.
It is, but still, that's $20 more than.
But like
zero
that shows they're at least starting to get into that
more.
kind of thing, and maybe that's the first step towards getting a virtual console.
They
think
still don't have a
Nintendo's got
proper
it.
D-pad though.
Nintendo's got it.
You can't play like fucking Mega Man 2 on a Joy-Con.
That's true.
You can't do it.
That's true.
It's fucked.
Why not?
Because it's 4 buttons. It's not a D-pad. A D-pad, is designed with a swivel in the middle so you can like roll from like one direction to the next. So it's like smooth and like fluid to go from like forward to a forward jump. You can't do that with 4 buttons. Even if you did, they're too far apart. Even with my, fatter thumbs, it doesn't feel good, and it's functionally just not the same.
And playing with the analog stick is out of the question.
I mean, if we're talking old school, like 8-bit like Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania, hard as balls games. You want more precision. Than
the
an
problem with
stick.
the analog stick is there's a lot to move. You know what I'm saying? Since it's a physical thing, instead of being a button this big that you just have to do this, you have to fucking. You know what I'm saying? The analog stick, even though it's a small thing, it's still so much bigger than the D-pad that moving it actually is.
It just
different.
doesn't work. Like I've been playing Celeste, which is really cool on the Switch. I eventually got on the Switch. I didn't want to get on the Switch because I knew I was going to end up playing it with the analog stick, and I have. And oftentimes, I'll go up instead of at an angle, or forward instead of at an angle. And Celeste, that just means an extra death, and I find that really frustrating. Some games, especially those old school hardest balls platformers, you need a proper D-pad. And
what if Nintendo released a Joy-Con L?
So I think they would need to do that, like the virtual like just for virtual console. If they ever announce virtual console,
wouldn't that be cool if they announced a Joy-Con L with the D-pad and it came with like a couple of virtual console games?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I would buy that.
Smart. It's smart. But the thing
Nintendo,
is,
I'm giving you fucking
even
gold.
one of those is $50.
Dude, I almost guarantee
expensive.
you that idea has come up.
How is one Joy-Con $50? How?
Because they can.
Because you know why? Because fucking kids break shit so easily, and it's just easy
or
money.
lose it.
It's just raking in money.
Capacitive rumble in it.
Yeah. Brad, you can hear the ice cubes.
Yeah.
All right, next news topic. Let's see what else we got.
Too.
There's some other stuff worthy discussing. Ooh, okay. So this was one Brad actually brought to my attention today. I totally missed this.
So Pete Hines, I think he was being interviewed about E3 and their upcoming lineup.
Because they've had some good years at E3,
and like he totally drops the line. It's even awkward in his response of like, E3, it's going to be real hell on earth for us, which is. If you're not familiar, the subtitle for Doom 2 back in the day, Doom 2, Hell on Earth. So it is a not so thinly veiled like tease that Doom 2 is probably going to be at E3, which is cool because Doom was one of the best games of that year, and I can't wait to play another one.
It's funny how Bethesda has kind of shot to the top and become like one of the most exciting publishers to watch at E3. I think. Last year they had Evil Within, and
I don't know. Last year's
press conference was a little lacking, but like but every year they've had big games.
I know
games.
I know. I was expecting a lot more last year than so much about Skyrim.
And it didn't hurt. It didn't help that like all their shit they were going to announce leaked weeks before.
That is true.
I wish we could just make it to these press conferences without shit leaking. Like if this is the last thing we hear about Doom 2 and we don't hear about it again until it's actually on stage being announced, like I'll be over the moon. That's exciting. The only reason I'm like maybe this isn't happening is because Chris Davis brought this up to me earlier, and it's true. Like id's production schedule has never been like, let's develop a game in 2 years and get it out the door.
Yeah, but that's because they've been like a disaster until the release of this game.
I mean, the Doom that we got in 2016 was very much a problem child for that studio for a very long time. They developed the whole thing and then scrapped it and then started from scratch pretty much at one point. So now that they know the winning formula, it probably was not a stretch to say, all right, you know what works.
Let's do more of that.
Let's do more of that. Yeah. Which, you know what? I'm totally cool with. Because that game was dope. I don't think this is going to be like announced and then coming out this year.
I think it would actually.
I don't know. I think it's going to be more like when they announced Dishonored 2 first at E3, and then it wasn't until they showed Dishonored 2 the same year they announced, or they showed Fallout 4 for the first time, and then we didn't get. And then the next E3 was when they focused on Dishonored 2, and then it came out.
I would bet this year, like it happened with Evil Within 2 last E3. We saw it for the first time, and it came out later that year. In fact, Halloween, not even that. Or mid-October.
My only concern there is that Evil Within 2 is different enough to maybe make this not necessarily true.
But like SMG's saying, I'm sure they're probably going to use the same like mechanic, like engine that they used for Doom. I'm sure it's probably a lot of the same assets even too.
They were probably already working on it before they even shipped.
Definitely. I would not be surprised if they got announced for like October.
Here's the question. Do you think it's going to be called Doom 2 Hell on Earth?
No, probably not.
Probably just like Doom 2.
But yeah, I mean,
you think they'll be able to resist the like crazy subtitle? I mean, they already did. What do they call their VR? VFR.
Oh, VFR.
Like they're already playing with like weird subtitles. I would be shocked if they didn't do something.
Yeah, it might have something.
And they might be trying to capture the whole throwback to the original Doom 2.
It's cool though. I really like
Either way, I'm fucking excited. I hope that's true.
I never played Doom.
2016?
Yeah.
It's good.
Ooh, it's good.
I know.
You got a new 144 hertz monitor, right?
So that's
Dude.
so when I was looking at
Perfect
Razer's
game for
store with my $15 credit, Doom was one of the ones I had put in my cart thinking about it, but I ended up not doing
I have it
it.
on Steam. That is a very well optimized game.
Oh, really?
So your PC will hit 144 no problem.
Yeah.
So I would do it.
I cannot wait. All right, next news topic, please. Are we gonna do this one? I'm gonna let Brad take this one.
wait,
Take it
what did I
away,
say?
Brad.
So I don't know why. I mean, this is not even a Brad topic. This is more of a a Chris Davis topic.
This is
or some
mostly
shit.
me. Like, I see the word battle royale and my eyes roll back in my head, and I just
Yes,
tune
you're
it
right.
out.
The announcement of a new battle royale game is not necessarily newsworthy, but the fact that this is a boss key game, which they shipped
Bees.
Lawbreakers last year, 2 years ago.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, it came and
It
kind
can't
of
be 2
went.
years
Yeah,
old.
It came and went. Did y'all
It had
see?
to have been 2 years ago because it was. Yeah, no, it was either like a year and a half or 2 years ago. Yeah.
Either way, there was kind of a long build up to that game of Cliffy B kind of promoting that thing of like, hey, it's gonna be like a big deal, right? And it kind of wasn't a big deal, and
Kind of wasn't.
And
Dude, I played the alpha with Jaeger, and I was like, this is bad.
well, I mean, the general consensus is not that it was bad when it came out. It was more that just nobody was playing it because
There was nothing good about there was nothing that got my attention. There was nothing about it that really drew me in.
Sure. But also the people who typically play those kinds of games were playing Overwatch, and that kind of converted into PUBG and the like. And basically, no one really ever played Lawbreakers, and it wasn't very successful. Did anybody read the Savage tweet from Kaz Harai?
Nope.
The Kaz Harai Twitter?
Yeah. The real Kasara.
I'll read it, even though it's really mean, and I don't like being mean about it, just because this is really funny. They said, "Wait, but Bosky already did a battle royale game. They put out a shooter that had 100 players, and then eventually they only had one left," which is really mean. But funny.
Fuck. Shots fired. Damn.
Did y'all see that thing about Randy Pitchford thinking Kasarai's Twitter account was the real Kasarai?
Yeah, I did.
That was pretty
What
funny.
an idiot.
Oh.
So the thing about this it was kind of interesting is because there was a vitriol towards Cliffy B that he dared put out a game that was not super successful. I guess just because he's Cliffy B and he has a strong personality. And I feel like if you have a strong personality in this industry and you don't shit gold with every release, people like to dump on you.
Having a strong personality was him being an asshole to other games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people's response to that is
Disproportionate?
not even disproportionate. It's that it's like that's what you do, right? It's like
I don't know. I don't
I
don't see a lot of
you
games
dare
people
be
act
like
him.
arrogant and not shit gold, then you're gonna burn down in flames. Even after this game fails and your next game is announced, you're still gonna burn because you dared be arrogant about the thing that you did, right? Which means all that says is don't ever be anything but modest, because the internet will just eat your asshole.
If you're, I mean,
It's
if you're selling
escalated.
your game on the perceived failure of other games, and then your game fails.
Wait, what do you mean the perceived failure?
Oh, I mean, his marketing strategy for Lawbreakers was specifically to take down other popular, was to take down Overwatch and take PUBG was still not quite as big as it is yet.
He's about to make you his bitch.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
he wasn't out to promote himself.
John Romero didn't
he was
even sign
out,
off on that. I found
he
out
was
recently.
out to tear down other people
That-
and make money doing.
But that, but I'm saying if you even have a little bit of that, don't be outspoken about your product or proud of it even, because you're gonna be shit on for the rest of your life.
Maybe the lesson is don't be like that.
Don't be a dick.
Don't
It's
be a
cool
dick
to be
in
proud
response.
about what
also,
you're doing, but
don't be a dick in response. Also,
I mean,
because apparently Cliffy B's not even attached to this. They're claiming, but people are.
you haven't even said
already-
the name of the game yet. Radical Heights.
It's on the screen. Radical Heights.
So, Brad, this is an audio podcast.
We probably said it.
We didn't.
The new battle royale game, Radical Heights, which has game show. I don't. Apparently, it's okay to be an asshole.
I mean, this is
Hopefully, this fails.
I really don't want to bring this up, but you did just call Randy Pitchford a dick, and I feel like he's kind of been doing the same thing. You called him an idiot, and he's kind of been doing.
Yeah.
He's known for doing a lot of the same things that Cliffy B is doing. Yet you're defending Cliffy B, and
The thing is, I'm not even defending Cliffy B. I don't care about Cliffy B. I'm saying people are
doing the same
disproportionately mean to the success of or people want failure.
I mean,
They legitimately want failure.
I think you're conflating Cliffy B and Lawbreakers with other projects that didn't deserve what you're talking about.
Well, y'all brought up like John Romero, or he did, and it's like John Romero was another person who had that kind of personality, and of course there was the ad in a magazine of like John Romero is going to make you his bitch, which I found out recently. Like he didn't even sign off on that or whatever, right? That's just the ad company. But ever since that, Daikatana had to be the greatest game ever, and when it wasn't, obviously not even close, that people just like now John Romero can't even ship a game. It seems like, because people hate the man. I don't know. It's just weird thing where it's almost like the best thing to do is just to kind of keep your mouth shut or act super modest.
I don't think that has never not been true.
Never not been true?
You don't think that has never?
Yes, he's saying that's always been true.
Okay, sorry.
But
double negatives. I was trying to figure.
Don't go on national, international platforms and shit talk other people in your industry.
I'm
Don't
not
go on
necessarily
a-
do that,
Don't go on an
or else
award
it might
show.
backfire in your face.
Don't
That
go on an
doesn't-
award show and say fuck EA and fuck the Oscars and all this stuff, and then your game's mediocre.
It's just sad because there's a lot of other people involved in making these projects.
That
But like
does suck.
one person dares to be a personality, and it's okay for those people not to be able to feed their
No,
families.
But again, that's not what being like. Being a personality doesn't mean specifically being what Cliffy B is. Cliffy B is a very kind of specific type of toxic asshole.
Yeah, but I mean that well, I don't know. I don't actually know a lot about Cliffy B. But
well, I do know that he prefers to be called Clifford Blazinski now.
these days.
Clifford or just Cliff?
Probably Clifford.
At the same time, I feel
think
like
Cliff.
the industry needs like personalities, maybe not assholes, but
Everybody needs an asshole, Brad.
people.
That's true. No one wants to talk about it.
But we all need them.
But the thing is, there's something weird about it when Cliffy B was making Gears of War, or John Romero was making Doom and Quake, or Itagaki was making Ninja Gaiden. It wasn't until they made something that was bad that it became just like a bukkake of hate. And it's like if you're gonna talk the talk, you better walk the walk with every single one of your games, or you're
That'd be another good band name.
Someone brought up Dennis
a garbage
Dyack
fest.
as
Dennis Dyack,
he never recovered
David
from the
Jaffe.
two human thing.
Basically, these outspoken people that probably have PR people saying,
like
"Please shut
you're
up.
allowed to be
Please shut up."
outspoken, but only if your game's really fucking good.
You're allowed to,
Or maybe
say
be
whatever you
outspoken,
want.
but not
Not
in-
at someone
not
else's expense.
protected
Not,
from anything.
not bringing someone down. Kind
Yeah,
of stuff
don't-
like
don't-
that. Yeah.
You can be cocky about your project, but don't specifically call out other projects, and then
Well, that I don't.
I mean, to an extent, you can, Nick. I mean, but
I know it's
like look at
it's
Peter,
a free country.
Look
They
at
can do
Peter
whatever they want.
Molyneux.
I feel
I
like
I mean, if I don't know, if
Peter
your
Molyneux's a
thesis
good
is
example.
Poor Cliff Blazinski, like I'm not buying.
no, it's just funny that like I think when Lawbreakers came out, people were like, "Well, this seems kind of dated. It's like an arena shooter. We're doing these other things now, right?" And it's like, you have no place in this industry. No one wants to play your thing. And now they're doing something that's like super relevant, and everyone's reaction is the opposite, and it's just like, oh, you're just biting off, the popularity of these fucking new games. Like, how dare you? And it's like, what the fuck are they supposed to do here?
Yeah.
I mean, the
They're
strange.
just trying to survive.
I think I've played a little bit of Radical Heights, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that part of the issue here is that what's wrong with Lawbreakers is also kind of what's wrong with Radical Heights, and it's a lack of original vision.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's pilfering the old or pilfering the current, it's still like nobody's designing this
defining
game with
characteristic.
like an idea or an inspiration in mind. They're just looking at what other people did that has been earning a lot of money and saying, okay, we'll do that, but we'll put ATMs in the game.
Well,
Ship it.
That you could say that about like fucking almost any game if you all don't like it, right? I mean,
I think what is even discussion? Like, what is even criticism?
no. What I'm saying is it's easy. Like if
It's very specifically a battle royale thing right now. Like it's like if they had come out and said, okay, Lawbreakers was a failure, and they immediately jumped on and started doing something that wasn't a battle royale game, this would be a different discussion.
It's not like Lawbreakers was a completely different discussion either. I mean, they were definitely going after a market that was very, very relevant at the time. They were just doing it the way that Cliff Bleszinski's always done it, because that's how he thinks about shooters competitively.
Yeah.
The fact that formula seems a little archaic and outmoded now is kind of part of the problem, but like the motivation and the drive is still kind of the exact same thing as what we're seeing with Radical Heights. I mean, dude, Lawbreakers, like nothing, there was no interesting artistic design. The characters didn't have anything that made them pop. It
was boring.
It was the same kind of stuff that like, I don't know. I guess now
it lacked personality.
Now that we've seen where it comes, like how far that genre and how far
I can't say anything about the quality of Lawbreakers. It's kind of not even what I was getting at. Battleborn's another one. People hate Randy Pitchford, so all of a sudden that game had to burn down to the ground. You know.
But did you play Battleborn?
No, I haven't played either.
I don't like MOBAs.
The quality of the game doesn't matter because
it kind of does.
No, because,
as far as its performance in the market.
No, I'm talking about the reaction. The
sure.
quality of the game doesn't matter because bad games come out all the time, but people aren't setting fire to the homes of the developers.
Let's not paint this as being people hated Lawbreakers because they hate Cliff Bleszinski.
I think
people hated Lawbreakers because they played Lawbreakers and Cliff Bleszinski being a dick.
No one played Lawbreakers.
Dude, I fucking played like 6 matches of it and hated it. Was done with it. How many did you play?
Like 3.
Yeah, done with it. Chris Davis, you played some Lawbreakers, right?
But it's not like something that millions of people played.
But no, to Brad's point, the number of people who even tried it was much lower. It was definitely never even took off.
It never even got off very properly.
It just never. The people never.
You think
even
all these
tried
people
it out.
making jokes about the fate of Lawbreakers played the fucking game? I bet it's a very small percentage of those people. Bravo, Crispy. I don't. None of us fucking played it because
the meme has completely overshadowed the actual quality of the product itself.
Absolutely.
And nobody who's saying anything about
Battleborn
that
is
game
the
being
same
bad
thing. I think
really has a point
that
or
happens
to stand on.
from time to time.
It sure
unfortunately.
does.
I've never played Daikatana.
Acting like that just came out of nowhere and that came out of pure just like disdain for Cliffy
I believe
B
absolutely.
is not.
Yeah, I believe it.
Naive, I think.
I guess one interesting thing and related to this news topic is that they're doing something called Extreme Early Access. And this game has had 5 months of development time.
Jesus Christ!
And there are buildings in this game and stuff that don't even have textures on them. Like that's somewhat weird and different, right?
So like Spy Party.
Yeah.
Well, but Spy Party wasn't like readily available for everybody to just purchase on Steam.
True.
And this is free to play. Seems a little strange.
I mean, I didn't even know you could have a workable product in 5 months that people can jump in and play.
But it seems kind of barely workable. But what is? I mean, I've been kind of anti-early access, obviously, for a long time. I mean, obviously, with a multiplayer type like this type of game, early access makes a little more sense, but this is like taking that a step further.
True.
Is that like something that? How do we feel about
I feel
that?
like this is just the continuation. It's like early access in general just feels like a big experiment that it's just not done yet. Like they're gonna keep different developers are gonna keep trying different things until someone finally nails it and finds a way to make early access super viable, and then suddenly everyone starts doing it. Yeah.
This definitely seems early access in an attempt to get it out before everybody has a Battle Royale game, which is probably going to happen by the end of this year, right?
Hell, there's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 having a Battle Royale mode.
But at least people are fucking playing. I mean, free to play is the trick, right? You know, no one knows what's going to be the next. I mean, think about when
the reason why Paladins is around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about when Fortnite first launched. I bet the people who are really big Fortnite streamers like became way bigger potentially, right? Once the thing started to blow up. So I think you start to see people who play PUBG, play Fortnite, at least try this thing out, because you never know if it's going to fucking explode and make someone a goddamn celebrity, right? So we might as well try it. And that's why you see some of these Fortnite players are already streaming this game. And I don't know if it's going to be successful. I don't know if it deserves to be successful, but you know, because it could suck. But, you know, I've just...
We'll see what happens.
Lately, I mean, I don't even care about lawbreakers, but it's just more of a general internet attitude that I've been...
This conversation...
Perturbed by.
That I've been annoyed
different.
by, yeah.
All right, well, let's shift gears. What's the next news topic? This is another one I don't feel comfortable. Brad, you put this up there, didn't you?
Well, we've all seen The King of Kong, right?
I have not, no. I mean, I just in general have only absolutely no interest in that aspect of the industry myself.
I'm familiar with it, Brad.
Oh, but you've not seen it.
I've seen King of Kong.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He has an arc. Yeah, doesn't this guy have an arcade at the Orlando International Airport?
So Billy
yes.
Mitchell,
The King Kong
he's been confirmed a cheat.
He's
Twin
a
Galaxy
cheater.
is sort of the
community that
the community that keeps track of all these retro game scores and kind of makes the stuff official, if you will.
Yep.
And so I think it was a couple months ago that it came out that Billy Mitchell's like a tape that he had, he was actually using an emulator.
Well, no, there's this whole thing. There was Nick. For those who don't know, there was this whole thing. Billy Mitchell.
I remember.
Well, he had the high score on Donkey Kong, right? Mm-hmm. For the longest time, someone beat his score. They're now the new champion. They did it live at where was it at? Galaxy, so some location, whatever. They did it live, all the official channels. Billy Mitchell just sends in a video of him beating
the next day.
the next day
Of him beating
of him beating it and getting a
score.
higher score, and they're like, oh well, he's now the new champion.
That one specifically was he was the first person in the world to break a
Break a million.
A million, because
Correct.
even though Steve Wiebe actually was the first person, because he did it live.
Correct.
And that tape is confirmed bullshit.
Yes.
But like, and that came out and he was denying it. And Twin Galaxies has always kind of had his back. And, you know, he claimed that Twin Galaxies, you know, had the original tape or whatever. But now it's official that Twin Galaxies has banned him, has removed all of his scores, and has said that he can never send in any other scores. He's basically been, you know, he's done with like submitting any sort of retro scores. And it's not to say that, like, you know, he was probably still the first person to get that perfect game in Pac-Man.
Yeah, probably.
I think that was live. I don't know. But this dude has been officially, you know, he's
run out of town.
He's run out of town, which is great because he was the villain.
He kind of was, yeah.
Absolutely. He was the villain, and Steve Wiebe was the hero, and now the villain was way more villainous than we ever thought. And it's pretty great. Pretty great. But yeah, like Twin Galaxies right now is like, people have been kind of like iffy about their credibility for a while now, and I think this is just trying to save face, but who knows who's the best at all these old retro games. By the way, there's other players that have beat both Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong scores. They're not even at the top anymore.
Oh wow.
I think since the release of that documentary, it just became more popular, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they've since been, you know, bested. Yeah. So they're not even like near the top. But yeah.
Damn.
It was an interesting story, and this is kind of like the happy ending.
The vindication.
Yeah, the vindication. So
Cool.
maybe they'll do another documentary like follow up one day.
A few quarters more.
Yeah.
I think we have one more news
Yeah.
topic
Sorry,
here.
Chris,
Did you
you're
put all the
a few
news topics
quarters
up this week, Brad?
I think
or-
I did, yeah.
Okay, so this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is an interesting one.
So y'all know about, did we talk about the Splinter Cell stuff in Ghost Recon
No,
Wildlands?
we have not yet. This actually happened in the thing.
It was like a DLC event or something. I don't really know how Wildlands works, where you can play as Sam Fisher.
Not
And
only
it's
play
voiced
as
by
Sam
Michael
Fisher-
Ironside, which is great, right?
Isn't Ghost Recon like free this weekend or something? Yes. Yeah. Ghost Recon Wildlands is like free this weekend.
It's one of those games like I guess
Free to play for the weekend, but yeah.
yeah, it's one of those games that I think has been getting constant support. Like, I feel like Ubisoft has been doing good by their games.
Yeah, no, they've definitely been keeping track. It's not just releasing them and like forgetting about them and moving on to the next thing. They've definitely been like, you know, updating them. And Ghost Recon Wildlands is a good example of that. That, you know, it's has an online community. People play it, whatever, and they're keeping support up.
These secretly like really successful communities that are, you know, continuing.
Man, I wish I had
things.
I wish I had any desire to play Ghost Recon Wildlands. I feel like it'd be a game I normally would be interested in, but for some reason it just never tickled my balls.
And I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was kind of cool. And there's this cutscene with Sam Fisher, with Michael Ironside, where he makes reference like, oh, you know, there used to be this other guy, you know, back in the day, you know, when they're talking about, you know, doing what he does, right?
Espionage.
And like I think he wore like a bandana, right? And the person he was talking to, no, like, word is he retired. And they're like, oh, so I'm the last one. Or I'm the only one left. And it was like this really like sad, somber thing, kind of paying tribute to the death of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was cool because back in the day there was a lot of, you know, Splinter Cell's better, you know, asset mechanics, you know, whatever. That
is cool. That's a really cool homage.
beef.
I think I kind of feel like the bigger news though here is that Michael Ironside's doing Sam Fisher in this game.
And there's suggestion, there's clues in this DLC that it seems like it might be teasing new Splinter Cell.
This is probably the year at E3 where we get a new Splinter Cell with Michael Ironside, right? That's the assumption. I feel like it's inevitable. This E3, I'm gonna call first E3 prediction I'm having right now. They're going to roll out a Splinter Cell trailer, and it's going to end with like Sam Fisher saying something, and we very clearly Michael Ironside.
My only thing is though, is Ubisoft months ago said, "Oh, you know, we're still thinking about Splinter Cell or whatever," and now there's this Wildlands stuff. What if this Wildlands stuff is just what their plan for Splinter Cell was? Because like that Michael Ironside Sam Fisher model looked really bad. I don't know if that has something to say about Wildlands like models or whatever.
Well, yeah, it might have been a limitation of the game itself.
But I feel like if Michael Ironside was coming back, you would find a sexier way to do it than a somewhat awkward DLC.
It's a
for
strange
Wildlands.
way to do it.
I mean, maybe they just recorded some dialogue while he was recording dialogue for a new Splinter Cell game. And they're like, "Hey, record some for this real quick."
I mean that
we already got you in the booth or over the cell phone
or maybe,
while you're drinking.
Maybe the amount of work he did for Wildlands was the amount of work that Michael Ironside would fucking put up with or stay sober long enough for.
God, that's both of you guys.
No, he's had fucking issues on set.
I know. It was just like let's just keep.
Apparently, he was hard to work with in the past. But
I don't doubt it.
But what I was saying is like, remember what happened with Conker? How fucking Phil Spencer was like teasing like Conker's back, dog, and there was just DLC for that stupid fucking like man, what was that even called? Yeah, the Xbox Little Big Planet knockoff or whatever that
nobody remembers apparently.
No. What was that even fucking called?
What the fuck was
that? I think that shit came out.
Did it? It can't be. It couldn't have come out.
Weren't they making like a baby Conker game at some point too?
Project Spark. Did Project Spark come out?
I don't.
Was this just a fever dream that they were making like Kids Conker?
I don't remember.
Into like a little shit platformer for like their AR goggles or something? Am I making that up in my head?
Yes.
Maybe.
Like Kid Conker?
Probably.
Oh my god.
Some weird dream you had.
Microsoft.
Some weird dream you had.
Yeah.
All right. So, that's it for news this week. Brad, are you
I'm out of here.
You out of here?
Bye.
I don't want to kick you out. I'm just saying thank you for being here, Brad. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
He's not gonna say bye. He's just gonna.
Bye. It's the community.
Okay, Brad.
Bye.
Bye.
So anyway,
Bradley.
back to some impressions.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we got a couple more games impressions wise. I know, Crispy, you've been playing some. Is that DLC, the Overwatch Retribution? Is that, or what is that?
Yeah, it's the current event going on right now.
It's the current event.
What's that like? What is that like?
So April now is the for Overwatch is the Archives event, and it is a non-holiday based, like pure lore focused event that they're going to do every year that centers around past stories in Overwatch's history. So last year they did Uprising, which was all about the Omnic Uprising in King's Row, which happened to be Tracer's first mission. And this year it's all about an event called Retribution, which was focus around Blackwatch, the Black Ops like shadowy part of Overwatch that was led by Reaper before he was Reaper. And
There is a shocking amount of lore to Overwatch
yeah,
that I'm just like,
totally.
it's crazy.
it's not
You
something.
should see the stuff the fans write.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, the
I
porn.
bet.
But yeah, so basically the whole setup, the whole story of Retribution was there was this evil like crime boss who was part of an attack against Overwatch, and Overwatch couldn't do anything about it, so they sent him Blackwatch to kind of like take care of it under the radar. And Blackwatch sneaks into this guy's place, and they're supposed to take him alive. And at the last second, Reaper goes all like fucking haywire and just like murders the guy. And then they have to escape and extract. So the actual level, the mission itself, is you fighting through the extraction. Of the
Okay,
event.
I have a question.
Yes.
As someone who just admittedly doesn't know much about Overwatch,
Yeah.
isn't this a multiplayer
It is.
shooter? Where
It
do
is,
you get
which
all
is-
of this lore?
Which is, well, I mean, a
Are
lot
they
of
just
it,
cutscenes that play before a match or something? Like, what is this?
Oh, I mean, like, no,
Yeah.
not even that.
Like a bunch
Like-
of the characters do have like cinematic shorts that they do. When
Well,
they-
there's like 5 or 6 of them out right now that kind of deal with the backstories, but like every new map has like a backstory, you know, so
That you
for
read
instance,
about,
a few
or-
of them came out and it was like Eichenwald was this like German town, and then like they released a whole bunch of lore about what Eichenwald was, and that was like where Reinhardt like became the hero of Eichenwald and like got his invitation to join Overwatch. But yeah, it's all just kind of like out there, like
Nick,
it's in like
it's-
developer videos.
Nick, it's kind of
and,
like the TF2
Team
when they
Fortress
did, when
2.
they did the meet the whatever. It's like that, but
it's
more involved.
A lot of it, like some of it's like in the game, like in little like player descriptions. Like you'll get a new skin for somebody, and they'll like have a little blurb that's like, "Oh, so and so used to do this," you
and
know?
they'll have the dedicated web
and, like-
pages that'll talk about like some
Yeah.
of its lore. And
There's
things like
a
that.
lot of it, and they have like over the last year or so tried to up the because they had a bunch of disparate elements that you can tell when they first started. They had like this vague idea of like what Overwatch was, what Blackwatch was, what Talon was, and now they're trying to like every time they introduce like a new character, they're trying to integrate them into a larger story and like tie everything together and make it more cohesive.
Gotcha.
And that's why they have the archives events, because this is like their big gameplay moment every year to do that, to try to flesh out the
Gotcha.
story, you know.
I was just genuinely curious because I wasn't
but
sure how you
you-
developed that.
But you
this kinda
had
game.
asked, like, isn't this an online competitive shooter? And it is, and that's why Retribution's kind of cool, because this is the first time where they've just like made a whole new map for the game that is completely designed to be a single player like co-op experience. So this is I don't remember what it is. It's in Italy somewhere. I don't remember what the map is actually called. But it is a lot different from typical Overwatch maps in that like it starts in like a room where you're fighting a bunch of guys, and it has like a pretty linear progression, and it goes for a while until you get to an extraction area. It's not just a repurpose of like an old competitive match, you know, that they've turned into single player story. But they have like a fully animated cutscene that introduces the whole thing. They have a lot of production value. They upped a lot of like so the actual like scenario itself involves 4 characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's Reaper, McCree, Moira, and Genji. And they have like a whole bunch of new recorded dialogue for those 4 characters, like during the match of them like talking and interacting. That's kind of neat. So they put a lot of production value into this. And it kind of like begs the question of like, when are we going to get to the point where there's just like
A single player?
more of this going on? You know,
Yeah.
like this is kind of fun. Like,
People in chat
and-
seem like they want it.
and they've been
They
doing a really
definitely
good
do.
job.
Yeah.
They've been doing a good enough job with it that it's like, man, I could see them releasing like a set of missions that are all just like based around telling the story and like filling out the lore. The mission itself is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's mostly just like I said, it starts in one room. You fight a bunch of guys while you're waiting for a door to explode, and then you go through that. You're going through these linear level areas where you're fighting bad guys and like enemy hero characters, and then you get to an extraction point where you sit and wait for a ship to come in. You know, so it's not like it's not really crazy or out of you know, out of the realm of what you're already doing in Overwatch. You're still just like shooting a bunch of people. But this was a significant step up from what they did for last year's archive event. So it's pretty exciting to see like what they're going to come up with going forward.
Like if you want like dedicated single player content for Overwatch, like I feel like you're not going to get it in Overwatch 1 if they even decide to make an Overwatch 2.
Yeah,
How could they not make an Overwatch 2 at this
No,
point?
I mean,
Well, there's not a reason to right now.
this
Yeah,
is,
I guess
this
so.
is this is a Blizzard game too. This is like they don't make like a game, have it out on the market for 3 years, and then pump out a sequel.
No.
Like they
more like 10
are
years.
definitely leaning more into like a games of service kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're
And
still waiting
they
for
are-
StarCraft Ghost.
Right. You know, StarCraft 2, think about this.
Yeah, that's-
StarCraft 2 is a 10-year-old game now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and they just released the latest campaign for that like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still supporting it and they're still updating
I
it.
still want to. I still want to try Overwatch. It's one of those games that's kind of been. Is that crossplay? Like, can you play like PC
Oh,
versus PS4? Okay.
No.
And everyone's
You
playing.
would not want to do that.
But are you? Yeah, you're probably right. So, what's the consensus? PC is probably the way to go.
I mean,
What are you playing on?
I put 150 hours in on PS4. I just started playing PC, so I'm at like 10 hours on PC.
Is
you're
that a,
serious
is that a
about
game
it-
to get? Is that still? Is it still possible for someone like me who's never played it to like get in on the ground floor and like
yeah,
have a good time? With
absolutely.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Nick, you would have a great time playing the PS4 version. And
But I can't
think,
play
I
with
think if
you.
you want like the end all, well, I play PS4 all the time.
He's got it too.
Like
yeah.
my roommate Cam, he doesn't have a computer, so that's how we play is PS4.
Okay.
But it is one of those things where like if you're really serious about competitive shooters and like being on the cutting edge of the Overwatch meta, then yeah, you probably want to be on PC. But I mean, even like Overwatch pro players say that like console's a great place to start and just learn the game, like
Yeah.
learn how
If you just want to
everything.
enjoy the game, play console.
Yeah, I would totally say you
Cool.
could play
I'm
on
glad
console.
people are telling
Yeah,
me
that
that.
sounds like it's right up Nick's alley.
That sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's got a lot
I've been
of
so
charm,
curious about
a lot
this
of
game
personality.
since it took off and since you love it so much and all this stuff.
It's
so.
great, man. It's great.
I would love to try it.
It's wonderful.
I don't really know anything about the characters. Like when you say Reaper, I don't know who the hell you're talking about. But when I see the characters, I think they all look awesome. Like I want to learn more about the characters just based on what they look like. So I don't know.
You'd be able to look at a lineup of the characters and go, "Oh, that's Reaper."
Yeah.
Okay.
No, definitely.
Gotcha.
They all have pretty distinct. I mean, and that's what's cool. I mean, that's what I've always said I love about Overwatch so much is that like they have 27 heroes now, and each one of them plays completely differently,
crazy.
does
That is
completely different
crazy.
things, but it's all
And they all have different
Balance. It's all, like-
personalities. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's like that Blizzard balance is like just
Blizzard can't.
Well, it's a
balance.
scenario where they're constantly balancing it because new characters come in and that's something that even in TF2 they did it, but it's a lot easier to balance 9 characters
Yeah,
than it is 27. Let alone,
I mean, you go through some pretty wild swings. Like some characters have gone through complete overhauls. There's one,
Bastion.
Symmetra, where they already like about 6 months out after launch, they completely reworked her character, changed her powers, and now they're still talking about like we're not done with her. We don't like how she is right now. We might not even keep her in the same role that she's in.
Yeah.
Like so they are like super hands-on and like in the nuts and bolts of the game like every update.
It's funny. I like how people in chat are like trying to guess who I'd play as. Now I'm just curious. Now I kind of
Oh,
want to play.
Nick is a Reaper main, totally.
All right. What, does she have like a great ass or something? Is that what you're saying? Is
Oh, Widowmaker for you, probably. No, Reaper is like the fucking emo.
Reaper has like
What?
dual
Metal
pistols
Kid.
and- yeah, he's very
that-
edgy.
you guys suck.
Genji's be great, dude. I mean, it's fun. Like, it's kind of interesting to see like what characters are really good on console versus.
I'm gonna try this game
versus
soon.
PC,
So and then, but I'm gonna make a decision independent. If I really want to play as Reaper, I will honestly play as
Well,
Reaper.
you got-
but
you
I
got-
am going
No,
to-
but see, that's the great thing, Nick. Every one of those characters is good.
you got to play at least
You
3
wouldn't pick
matches with a
each of
character
them.
to see if you like him or not, which means you need to play like close to 100 matches because
to
there's
get all the
27
characters. Yeah,
characters.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like
You wouldn't, yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like he's gonna be a McCree main though.
No, but see, the thing is, McCree's awesome. I love McCree. But the thing is, it's because the game is very much built around organic fluid team compositions, so you have to switch it up and go with whatever
Yeah.
situation you're in. You have to have a optimal comp.
All right, I'm gonna try this soon.
We've talked a lot about Overwatch, but it's great, Nick. I highly recommend you try it.
I will.
If you do it before the 20th of this month, you'll be able to check out the Archives event, Retribution,
Yeah.
which is cool because they have this year's event and last year's content as well.
Wait,
Cool.
again, this is the 20th.
Yeah.
As in next Friday. As in God of War Day.
It's like a 20-day. It's like a 20-day event or 10-day event.
I feel short.
That's fucking cool.
No. I'm sorry. It started on what is today?
The 12th.
It started on the 10th and it goes for 20 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
a little better.
That's what it is.
Okay. So you have beyond the 20th. You have until the 30th.
You have like all month basically.
Cool.
And then next month
That
probably
might be
do
doable, actually.
anniversary.
Cool. All right. Are there any more impressions? Yes, Nolan. Is it Far Cry? Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to talk. We can bring up Far Cry
Briefly. This is not a long conversation.
Yeah. Like I said, I have talked.
I finished Far Cry 5.
Oh, you finished it?
I finished it.
I'm gonna finish it this weekend.
I will echo some of Chris Davis's comments in that I was not a big fan of the story.
Okay.
The moment-to-moment gameplay I did enjoy. I did have fun doing some of the side missions and stuff. But I will just reiterate some of the points I made last week. I don't like how they pull you out of gameplay.
Dude, I finally had a moment where I get what you were talking about, because it hadn't happened to me before like this. Mm-hmm. I got pulled at, the thing where you like get dragged, taken out. Mm-hmm. But I was in a fucking plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that was bizarre. But every time up until that point when it happened to me, it happened and it felt like organic.
Sure.
Which I think is what they were going for. But like,
and there's multiple times when I was casting, and it's just frustrating because it's like you literally are looking at something and you're like, I'm about to interact with this, and then it pulls you, and it's like, what the like I was fucking doing something.
I was in the middle of that.
That was one of my biggest frustrations.
Like I think it's kind of fine if they're coming for you, but you can get away. If I can get away from that event, but it's eventually going to get me.
That's different.
Give me some time.
I did try it. There was one time I think I was streaming when this happened, and I was like, I'm just going to see how long I can like outrun them. Mm-hmm. And I was doing a really good job. In fact, I jumped off a cliff and was hang gliding or wingsuiting for fucking like 1,000 meters or something like that, or 1,000 yards, and then I was like in mid-flight, and then or like I landed, and then it just happened. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way.
Like I was in a helicopter and I got shot by a bliss bullet out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like being able to like evade would have been actually a really fun
I
mechanic
agree.
in the game.
Run away from the story.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, so speaking of the story,
no spoilers.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. I wasn't a big fan of the ending. Okay. I liked some of the final scenarios that occur, but the story itself, I don't really like how it ended personally.
I think that's a very common complaint.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it so far. One thing I thought, I'm in the 3rd region right now, and I think I probably only have
You're in Faith's territory, right? Or Jacob's?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I finished Faith, finished John. I'm in the final region. I'm getting to that point where I was like, okay, I think I've crossed the 40-hour mark. I'm starting to get burned out. I'm ready. I'm getting pretty close. There's a few things I know I want to wrap up before I finish it up, but within the next 5 to 10 hours, I'm probably going to finish this game.
Did you liberate Nolan's bait shop?
Not yet.
There's a location called Nolan's Bait Shop.
I'll be liberating it. I can assure you. That's one thing I always do in the Far Cry games. I always liberate all the outposts and whatnot. So I'm going to do that.
Towards the end of the game, Nick, I want to say I got lazy. Like when I first started playing this, I would always try and go for an undetected outpost liberations.
Yeah,
but those take so much time.
Eventually,
I got a helicopter that had missiles, and I just started fucking shooting down into the bases. Yeah. Hit the alarms first, so I still get no alarms.
Yes.
But then just shooting all the people.
But it's cool that's an option.
No, that is. Yeah. It is.
Like, there's no specific reward for outposts for doing an undetected run.
Yeah, there is.
You
get more money.
Cash. But other than that, I mean,
correct. Yeah.
By the end of the game, but by like the first 10 hours, I had like 30,000 in cash.
What? How?
Dude, just
do you not buying guns? Were you not buying upgrades?
I would buy a gun, but I would stick with that gun.
I have never had more than 10,000 on me for more than like 2 minutes. Yeah, and then it's gone.
Yeah, it goes
I've been trying
quick.
to try all the different weapons and whatnot,
especially because I silence everything.
Yeah, me too. Even
shotguns. And extend.
Yeah, no, I fully upgrade my guns. Yeah.
Did you silence the flamethrower?
I mean, I didn't buy the flamethrower because I didn't feel like I should use it.
I got the flamethrower because I wanted to like get that. I wanted to do some of the challenges. Like I'm trying. Like, I enjoy the challenges a lot too. But once you get to a point where you've unlocked almost all of the skill tree, like you start to lose motivation. But
it's not.
What I was going to say is the one thing that surprised me is that a lot of people were kind of building me up to like preparing me for disappointment in the 3rd region because everyone said they hated the 3rd region. I think it's my favorite region.
Well, hold
in the
on.
game.
Define the 3rd region.
Jacob's
You're saying
region.
Jacob,
the militia
not 3rd, because you can go in any order.
I know, but it seems like everyone kind of does it in the same order.
I honestly think that
everyone seems to go John, Faith,
I did Jacob second.
Jacob's second for me.
Oh.
I did Faith third. I think Faith had the more interesting area.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Faith's like narrative structure way more, but
Well, like there was the dynamic spawning of enemies and like
yeah, and that was
would
weird.
change.
I felt like that was weird. I mean, it was changed, but I thought it was weird. Like,
but like you don't get that in other regions.
The thing
like, there's nothing unique about the other regions.
What I liked about the Jacobs region is that they toned back the music a lot. It's very ambient.
Yeah.
It's very just like beautiful outdoors for like almost the entire map for the most part. And it feels to me the most like Primal, which is probably why I really like it. It's just lots of wooded areas.
Yeah, I guess so.
And using the bow and arrow a lot and trying to be stealthy and like staying off the roads and seeing lots of wildlife and stuff. That's the shit I love about the game. So that's why I like it.
So like I said, overall, I thought the experience was okay, but and I think a big part of it plays from it's a silent protagonist. I honestly do think if the protagonist wasn't silent and had interaction, because like my problem is that I feel like they tried to make me care more about John and Jacob and Joseph and Faith and stuff, but like because I wasn't interacting with them like you did with Voss and stuff like that, I didn't feel like that was there. I just felt like a person randomly kidnapped me when I was in the middle of doing something, talked at me a bunch, and then I had to run away.
Sure,
you know, like, and that's just like I didn't care about them.
6 times.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I don't know. That's I think the game.
9.
Yeah. So anyway, let's not get into semantics. I'll just say that I think the game's story was a big letdown for me.
Sure.
I think it had some good gameplay mechanics. I think the world was fucking great. I love it's one of the best maps I've ever had in a game. I liked how easy it was to fucking just purchase helicopters and cars and be able to kind of do.
Cool.
There was a lot they did right, but I think they forgot that this is a video game, and story is a huge element to it.
And you know what? A real problem about how the story is told in this game, at least for why this county in Montana is isolated from the rest of the world. You get those story elements, but only if you're listening to a specific radio station in a car. And when in this fucking game are you spending time in a car?
Yeah.
I mean, I drive around all the time.
I always turn the radio
once
off.
you have the wingsuit and you have access to planes and helicopters, there is no point in being a car.
Dude, I drive cars all the time, but the problem is I turn the radio off almost all the
same
time.
Here.
Mostly because I can't hear the radio over the fucking engine.
I'm going to say something controversial now. I don't really care for the music in this game.
Oh.
I like it. I mean,
that's all I've been hearing.
There's
Everyone's really into it.
It's okay.
I don't get it.
It's kind of overplayed in the game.
I don't know. I'm really digging the music so far, but I mean, I guess I could see.
And I feel like with the 2 radio stations, it's like that Blues Brothers joke. It's
but I'm not even.
We got both kinds of music, country and western.
But I'm not even talking about the music that plays in the car, because like I said, I don't even turn the. I'm talking about the music that plays out in the world.
Yeah, when you'll be radio.
I love the tune that plays when you liberate an outpost and you see people coming in. I love that little jam.
Yeah,
it's funny because it's really weird if you go on iTunes and look up the soundtrack for this game. There are 3 soundtracks for this game that are all $10 each, and each one is devoted to I know
what
to different the different kinds of music in the game.
Like
That's
one
weird.
soundtrack.
I think it's a
dedicated to,
licensing issue.
Maybe.
Specifically, because one of them is straight up licensed country, the country music. One is the original score, and then one is the original score with vocals or choir or something. I don't know.
No. What one CD is dedicated specifically
That like
to the
a
original
hustle,
tracks that they recorded with artists specifically for this game.
Sure.
But I don't know why there has to be 3 of them. But
money.
there are. You can definitely, when you look at it, you can definitely tell that there's very distinctive different types of music in the game, and I think I like some more than others. But anyways, yeah, like I said at the beginning, I recorded a podcast with David where I talked a bunch about Far Cry, so we'll get that up for you guys if you want to hear that.
Can you give us a preview? Did you talk about the story, the ending, anything like that?
It was
because I didn't even know this was happening until you fucking told us
David's played well, when he first pitched me the idea, he was we talked for Far Cry for a bit, and he was like, "So can you be on?" I was like, "Sure." And then I go, "So how much of the game have you played?" I'd played 40 hours or coming up on 30 hours at that point. And he goes, "Oh, I've played about an hour." And then before we recorded, he was like, "All right, I've played about 10 hours now." And he's like, "I want to talk to someone who's who knows the series and likes the series, because I don't." He's like, "I kind of get it and I kind of don't get it." So we touched on some things.
I feel like that's the rational place to be with Far Cry.
Yeah, probably.
I kind of get it, kind of don't get it, but I kind of get it.
Yeah. We go on some tangents because David has a way of bringing up.
David is David.
David is David. He has a way of bringing up some topics of conversation that I never saw coming. So, well,
how did he tie idols into it?
He did bring up idols.
Fucking knew it.
But I don't think it was actually in relation to Far Cry. But we talked about some other stuff too. But yeah, we'll get that up probably as a bonus podcast here shortly. I got to talk to David about it. Anyways, let's get to the community. We have some questions, right? Nolan?
I have a lot of questions. Sorry.
We did?
Well, yeah, quite a few.
All right.
Community. Yeah. No new patrons this
That was
week.
so lazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm tired.
I'm just kidding.
No new patrons this week. That's all right. We had quite a few last week.
Yep.
And we thank them again. Thank you, patrons. Every week we post a thread on Patreon where you can go and ask us any question you want, and we will answer it for the most part.
Patreon.com/4Player if you are interested.
Yep. So first question this week from Mr. Greentoast. You can become $100,000 richer. The catch is that you get this money by taking $100 from 100 charities. No one would ever know. Would you do it? Why or why not?
Wait, $100.
I don't think the math is right on that.
I'm 99% certain this was like an Ask Reddit thread.
Oh, really?
Wait,
Yeah.
$100,000?
So you're saying we've got $100,000 if we take
$1,000 from 100 charities.
No, other way around. $100 from 1,000 charities.
Dude. That's like all the charities.
That's like pennies on the dollar.
That's like all the charities.
$100 they wouldn't even notice.
Dude, I have too much of a guilty conscience. I don't think I could do it. You would. I don't think I could do it.
You wouldn't know.
What do you mean? I would know.
No. The catch is no one would ever know.
But I would.
But you wouldn't.
Are the payments just redirected into my bank account?
That's a good question.
You have to physically
If
break.
I have to go to Africa
not
and take
entrapment.
money from
No, the
starving
movie.
children who are trying to build a school, then maybe I won't do it.
Maybe.
But if it just shows up
Notice
in
how
my
that was
bank
a-
account,
Notice how that was a maybe.
then I'll just
Like, I'm not going to get caught.
yeah. I mean, money is fiction,
That's what it says.
So
And I'm not going to face,
what is the harm?
I mean, you might face God's judgment.
judgment. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Chris Davis is sitting in now that Brad's gone.
Yeah, I've
Hey,
been
Chris
here for
David.
like half an hour.
I know.
Hi.
We were kind of mid conversation. I forgot to say that. Hey.
Well, the
Chris-
couch looked very empty.
I know.
have
I was gonna say come over here, then you
I
started
was
to
going
come
to have
over
Butter
here. So,
sit there, but...
You can have $100,000, but it's in Dogecoins.
oh God.
All right, let's move on. Next question this week from Sir Thomas Thipple. In an apocalyptic wasteland, let's say nuclear apocalypse.
Nope, I'm dead.
There's
Well,
a
anyway.
questionable. I'm just gonna let you read it. I think
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, he uses a questionable term in this.
I'll
Nuclear?
catch myself.
Was it nuclear? 'Cause that
What
was
kind
pretty
of survivor would you be? Would you be the gruff wanderer? Find peace in a settlement?
bad. I know.
Be a bloodthirsty pillager of bodies? Perhaps become king of the roaches? The choice is yours.
We're not talking like
Nope, don't even.
cannibal, right?
No,
We're talking
no.
the other.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, we just tried to avoid it. Thanks, Chris.
No, I want to know what he said. I didn't say that.
Yeah, he said that. Oh, I would not be that thing.
Yeah,
No. What? No. Yeah, what?
that's pretty bad.
I'd be dead. I'd be a corpse. I'd be atomic dust.
Oh man.
So this has kind of always been like a thought I've had is like in that scenario, like whenever I'm playing a game, I try to be like a decent person, but if someone like crosses me, I'll immediately kill them. But I don't know if I would do that in real life. Like,
Oh, that's nice of you.
well, no, it's not like I'm not saying if like tomorrow if someone's a dick, I'm gonna kill them. I'm saying this is a post-apocalyptic future. You know, like the world is fucked. People are killing each other left and right.
This is an absolute
You
survival
have to
scenario.
fight to survive. I still probably wouldn't want to go out and steal things from people. You know what I'm saying?
I think I
wouldn't-
would be someone in chat kind of said it well. A curmudgeonly hermit.
So yeah, but the
that
problem
sounds
is,
like
Nick,
a-
when you're a hermit, you can only survive for so long. You got to
No,
kind
what
of
I'm saying is I don't think I would be very trusting of people. I don't think I would bring
Sure.
people into my. I think I would deal with people for the sake of getting things that I need to survive. But I would beyond that, I would go straight back into being sequestered, and I would not bring other people into my world. If you know what I mean, I'd just be me living out.
I take
on
no
my
part
own.
in the festival.
I am legend.
Yeah, you can use my towel. Sorry, that's Crispy gets it. But yeah, no, like I said, I agree, Nick. I would probably want to be the type of person who, just kind of finds a place where I can settle down, cultivate maybe some crops.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple livestock. But I don't know. Like, could I kill a man?
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it too, like
In that situation?
Yeah.
being alone in a world like that would also have some serious side effects mentally, I feel like.
Well, who
so.
said anything about alone?
But I mean, I just kind of I said I'd sequester myself.
Wouldn't
and now
you
that I'm
need
thinking
someone
about
to
it,
bang?
In the sex doll factory.
I would sequester myself.
It. He's just having tea parties with sex dolls all day. Well, hello, Samantha.
Bob
Would you
didn't
like
touch
some
the
tea?
sex bomb factory.
Oh my god.
Oh God, it would smell so bad.
Ew.
All right, moving on. Next question from B Rice.
Be right.
What's your guys' favorite place to get Mediterranean food in Austin?
I don't like Mediterranean food. This is funny. This came out right before the
You
podcast.
don't like
So
that?
I mean, I haven't had Mediterranean food that I
False.
like.
Do you know
Chris
how many
Davis,
different
whatever you're about to
cultures
say,
and
false.
I was
countries
gonna say-
are encompassed by
I'm saying I've never been to
Mediterranean?
a Mediterranean restaurant in Austin and walked out of there and been like, I'd go there again.
There's not a whole lot of Mediterranean places in
False.
Austin that aren't
Okay.
a chain.
No, okay,
False.
so there was Vert's, the kebab shop,
That
right?
is kinda
and now
chainy.
they turned into Noon, which is a
Noon.
Mediterranean bistro, and I hate it now.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it
So I was actually gonna go there.
because they used to do like really good like
He hates
lamb and beef
Doesn't mean you
stuff,
have to.
and they got rid of all that. Now it's just like bland bullshit. But that's no reflection on Mediterranean cuisine.
Carlos in chat says Demacies, and I've been to Demacies. That's like, that's one of the ones that popped in my head where I was like, I don't think I like Mediterranean food very much.
What's that Greek diner? There's like one up north on Anderson, and then one way down south by
There's Tino's.
Tino's. That might be what I'm thinking.
I like Tino's. Tino's
What
is pretty-
I think I may have been to
fucking
Tino's,
name?
too.
Euros and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff.
There's one near North Lamar and
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of that place. Peace Bakery.
yes,
Peace Bakery is really fucking
I
good.
went there and that was pretty good.
If you are in Austin and you want some Mediterranean food that's not like a chain, Peace Bakery. So yeah, it sounds like, because I'd never been, because I'm like, oh, it's a bakery. Why would I go there?
Meta World Peace.
Yes. I was like, why would I go there? But then some of my coworkers were like, no, dude, it's really good. So I went. Holy fuck, it's really good. Like, they have really good hummus. They have good shawarma. They have this like weird potato thing where it's like potato and some spices and stuff, but it's really like everything there was delicious.
I also hear Phoenician's pretty good.
Phoenician.
See, I don't like
guess.
hummus.
Wait, on
There's a place called Santorini on North Lamar, which is it's Greek food. The funny thing is that I ate there a while back, and they have this like photo of Santorini, and I was looking at it, and I was like, that looks so familiar. And then I looked through my phone, and I'm like, I have a selfie of me and Bernadette, like almost from that exact same angle when we were in Santorini. And I was like, that's crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. There definitely is some good Mediterranean food in Austin.
Cool.
Halal Bros. That's kind of chain, but it's so fucking good. Oh my god, it's so good, Chris Davis. Go. Do it now.
Okay.
Go now.
There's two locations. There's one on Guadalupe and 30th, and one on Metric and Breaker. So they'll do like heroes and shawarma and stuff like that. Do like a combo over rice. It's half lamb, half chicken over a bed of rice with some like lettuce and stuff. It's so good, and it's cheap. It's like $8, and I make 2 meals out of it.
Okay.
Like, I'll eat half and eat the other half later. It's so fucking good. And get the white sauce. Oh my god, they have this like yogurt based like white sauce.
Okay.
It's so fucking good.
I never had shawarma.
Shawarma's good.
Shawarma's good.
Shawarma's
Very
good.
Okay.
Similar to like a gyro.
It's shawarma's just like how they prepare the meat.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, moving on. Scrawny Flannel Man, or sorry, Scrawny Flannel in Patreon. Which would you choose in a survival or battle royale type game? A periscope to let you see around corners and from behind cover, binoculars which give you a 10x magnification on demand, a bicycle so you can move quickly and quietly without needing gasoline to find gasoline, or a slingshot for a quiet, low-damage weapon with an infinite ammo from the round start. You can only choose one.
I feel like the bicycle will leave you out in the open a lot.
It's going
Periscope.
to depend on the layout of the land where you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I mean,
a
if you're-
bicycle's not going to be good like if you're on a fucking mountainous terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
Periscope for me.
Plus, it also limits how you can move across that terrain.
Yeah.
I might go with the binoculars.
Binoculars, probably pretty good. If you're like in an urban environment, I would say like
The
a
periscope.
a slingshot actually.
Dude, Periscope. You can fucking jump them because you see them coming from around a corner.
Yeah, but I could also bust up a mirror and just like look around a corner with that.
That's not how mirrors
That's not
work,
how
Chris
video
Davis.
games work.
We're not in a video game.
Wait, is this hypothetical? He said this is
Battle
a
Royale type game.
yeah. If you're in a game, that would have to be a mechanic in the game.
Yeah.
No one's done that yet.
No, I think the periscope's too situational.
SMG is right. Periscopes because hiding like a bitch is the key to surviving.
Yeah,
That
but
is very
I
true.
think that's.
and
I
hiding
think,
specifically in the bathroom.
I think you can get more just general use out of binoculars than you could periscope. Periscope's situational.
Yeah, everything in this list is situational.
No, I mean, binoculars are less so.
What if you're in a building?
Just being able to see like farther in a building would be cool.
So being able to see that room, that wall right there at 10 times magnification would help
It's
you.
better than being able to see 6 feet up higher on the wall.
But I could hide behind a couch and see when someone comes in, but they wouldn't see me.
if
But like,
there's a
what if you
couch
can't read the
there.
Wi-Fi password from here?
Oh
That
man,
helps.
All right.
that's funny. Zero Skies brings. All right, J52 brings up a good point. Like, what if the mechanic where you break the mirror and look around the corner, but like every video game mirror ever, it doesn't actually work. It's
Yep.
not reflective. So you can break the mirror, look around, and it's like it's not working.
It's just
I
like
can't
fuzzy.
see shit.
It's just like a haze. All right, moving on. When Dingo ate my baby. I love listening to podcasts, but at the same time, I get restless really easily just sitting and listening. Do any of you have a game or games that you can go to when you need something mindless to do while waiting or listening to something?
Most games I play.
I don't usually. I mean, podcasts for me is usually when driving.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts when I'm eating lunch, when I'm
Like
driving.
working.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to sit down and play a video game, I'm going to do it for like hours.
And also, when I play a video game, I tend to be very focused on that video game.
I've tried many times in the past to multitask, and honestly, and I know this is maybe not true for everyone, but for 99% of the population, multitasking is not multitasking. It's you're just focusing on one or the other, and you will every once in a while go back and forth. Like I can't. I'll realize I've been multitasking while playing a game or watching a show, and then I realize like, oh, I have no idea what's been going on in the show for the past like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like Zero Size points this out. I think this is true. Like, I don't think many people just sit down.
You don't just sit in a dark room in a
Most people don't
chair
just sit down
listening
and
to a
listen
podcast.
It's not really like. Also, if I'm like cooking or cleaning the house, I'll put like my speaker on and like listen to a podcast.
No, that's a good. I'll do that too.
Or
Sometimes,
if I'm doing
yeah.
yard work, I'll have like my phone in my back pocket with a podcast going so I can hear it. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Any game that's got a lot of grind to it is great for that.
No, that is true too.
If I had
yeah.
to pick something to kind of be mindless, like while I'm doing something like listening to a podcast, I might pick something like Lumines. Lumines is fucking great. But I think the moral of the story here is you're listening to podcasts wrong.
All right,
And
moving
you should
on.
only be listening to us.
Next question from SMG Sterling. What's the most you've ever spent on a single meal? As in a single dish, not buying dinner for 20 people.
Wait, single meal like for myself or like like buying for two people?
Well, I think
just for yourself.
I would say 2 people might be understandable.
Well, I
too.
mean, actually,
like, not like
my
2
answer
people
would
is
be-
a reasonable number.
My answer would be the
Yeah.
same answer even if I divided that in half and said one half was just for me. It'd probably still be the most expensive meal I've ever paid for, and that would be Uchi.
Uchi
Yeah.
is expensive.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That's-
There was a contest I won a few years ago, and part of the prize was I got to go to a dinner at Three Forks. So I didn't actually pay
Yeah,
for
so
it.
you didn't pay for it.
I didn't pay for it, but it was definitely the most expensive dish I'd ever eaten.
What'd you get?
It was called a tomahawk steak.
Gee, a fucking tomahawk steak? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was.
Those are fucking, like,
it was like
huge.
that thick. It was like that big around, and it had a bone on it that was about that long.
God damn.
It was like eating a Fred Flintstone
Yeah.
like steak. It
I've
was,
been to Three Forks
eat it and then
once.
beat a
it
man
was
to death with
really
it.
good.
Nice.
really
I
good.
honestly like probably for me it was when I'm trying to remember. Like I'm usually honestly not that big on eating out. But like when we were in Greece, we
You
did
should
get
try
like
it. She'd appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
we got a lobster dinner for 2. when we were in Greece, and that was pretty expensive. I'm sure
Lobster dinner for 2 in Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was like tableside prepared. Like, yeah, well, they
import the lobster?
right. Yeah. Probably. No, it was like lobster spaghetti for 2. And like, they come out and they like have the lobster and they crack it open and they pull out the flesh and they combine it with like, it was like a show. And I was like, I didn't prepare for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
I will fully admit that the expensive dinner I had was also probably partially because we started drinking wine, and we bought it by the bottle.
Oh wow!
So the wine added up quite a bit.
I guess the most expensive meal I've ever paid for myself was went to Austin Land and Cattle with some friends one time.
And you bought everybody's food?
Well, no.
Wait, that was okay.
Yeah.
You didn't.
No, I'm buying for myself. Like Austin Land and Cattle, they're really fucking good steaks, but they're very proud of their steaks.
Oh yeah.
And they charge for it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god! Like if you, like a thing of béarnaise sauce on the side is like $5. Like Jesus Christ!
Disgusting.
All right, let's move on. A couple more questions. Zero Skies asks, "How many questions is too many for a single podcast?"
How many do we have?
I don't know. Like
Two more than we're at right now.
It depends on how long the questions are. If it's a bunch of quick ones, I think it's okay. But I would say maybe like 10.
I think
We're
10
all
is probably the
about- 10's
upper,
pushing
upper
it.
We are
limit.
all about quality and not quantity.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if there's 100 questions. If they're all good.
That doesn't mean we'll answer them all.
All right, here's my problem with Shy Tai.
Oh my god.
He asks good questions, but they always require like homework. Like the questions he asks, it's always like, "Oh shit, give me 30 minutes to think about it."
Shots
Like,
fired. Shots fired.
But yeah, so his question is,
Oh, he's here. Oh, he's asked a question.
yeah, 2 of your favorite workout songs, 1 gaming and 1 non-gaming. Like,
I don't think I ever listen to gaming music while I'm working out. I always listen to like, music. I know that's weird.
Wait,
that's a weird
Nick,
way to
that's
describe it.
weird.
I know. I'm trying to, non-video game music. Let's just say that. I usually listen to like rock or pop or.
So here's my
Whatever.
problem. When I work out, I just listen to fucking whatever. Like, I don't have like a preference. I don't like pick a certain genre. I don't need like fucking something like EDM to get me going or something like that. I just kind of listen to whatever my Spotify playlist happens to be on at the time.
Yeah.
So it's either my like video game playlist or fucking like just some other random shit, like some 90s playlist I have, whatever.
And I very rarely go back to something just because it's like my workout song. Like usually I just pick like the album that I have had on repeat for a while because it's fairly new and I'm really digging it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of becomes my workout.
I'll just
music.
listen to the fucking news. I mean, I don't
You
care.
But you do that in the
weirdo.
car too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So,
You listen to the news while you're working out.
I mean,
Maybe that's not weird. Or I don't know.
Yeah, fucking bombs in Syria. Yeah. Oh, Donald Trump.
Trump's about to get fucked by Mueller.
No! Like, who does that?
Oh.
All right,
good
that's all
lord.
the questions this week. Thank you to all of our lovely patrons
Thank
for
you,
asking
guys.
those questions. We always appreciate it every week. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Thank you guys. All right, let's wrap this show up. 4-player minute. You know how it works. We each say our hype, sweat, thank you, and fuck you of the week. Who would like to start us off? Nolan, that sounds like a volunteer.
Sure, why not? My hype is for, honestly, God of War. It's one of those things where it's like, I know Nick has the nostalgia more than me.
Dude, it's not even the nostalgia that got me excited
the
for
hype.
that game.
I mean, I know you're planning on playing some of the older God of War games,
But I was honestly not like super excited about playing.
Oh, really?
I was more like I'd like to play the old one before I play the new one, just so
to get the feel of how
compare.
it used to
I
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I picked.
I don't trust all the superlatives people are throwing around about this game. They're like, it's like Dark Souls, it's like God of War, it's like Legend of Zelda, it's like Last of Us all fucked together.
Yeah.
Like, no, it can't be.
I read 2 very in-depth reviews, and one of them specifically said people need to stop saying this is Dark Souls. It's not.
Yeah.
That's true about everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nick, did you ever end up pre-ordering the Labia?
No, but David did.
Well, that's not going to help us here.
That was one of the conversations we had last week. Wait, why are you asking?
So we could like do something on like the podcast or something.
Oh yeah,
or,
we can
like-
do that.
Well,
We
I
can
don't know if
spend
you'll be able
3
to find
hours
them.
making it, and then
We'll spend
record it the next
we'll have
day.
Brad spend 3 hours making it, and then we'll critique.
Brad
his...
lives like 10 minutes from me. Me and Brad can do a.
Then we'll have to order a new one and do it ourselves.
a buddy building episode.
We'll order 2.
All right, so my sweat is going to go to Assassin's Creed Origin, mainly just because I think I'm probably going to spend 100 hours on it. And not that I shouldn't, because I'm sure it's a great game. It definitely has been from what I played so far, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to fucking do all these side quests that I probably don't need to be doing because I see shiny things off in the distance, and like, so yeah. My fuck you this week is going to go to one of my coworkers, Sarah,
Niraj.
who saw Isle of Dogs yesterday, and she said she didn't like it at all. And I asked her if she could remember when she lost her soul, and she couldn't remember.
Hey, at least you watched it.
Yeah, that's true.
What a horrible person.
Yeah. And then I don't have a thank this week.
Pick another hype. It's always something to be excited about.
All right. My other sweat is that my mom's coming into town tomorrow for the Quidditch World Cup,
Oh, I forgot about
which takes place here
I
in
forgot
Austin.
about that.
And she got me a ticket to go.
Oh,
so
shit.
apparently I'm going to be attending the Quidditch World Cup this weekend.
That is so dope. I am so jealous.
I don't even know what to expect. So,
Brooms. You'll expect brooms.
You think so?
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
So
I hope they're not like lazy ass, like they went to like Lowe's and bought a broom. Like I hope it's like people like carved their broomsticks. You know what I mean? So they're all like
Well, I'll find out, Nick, and I will update you next week.
take pictures, video, whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
For those that don't realize, Quidditch like is actually a really big thing. Like the in real life, there are colleges that have official teams that compete. Like it's gotten really fucking big. UT, I think, won the World Series not last year, but the year before that.
This is the world we live in. I think it's fantastic.
Do they really run around with brooms?
Yes.
between their
Yes.
legs?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless.
Like otherwise, you would just basically be. running.
Otherwise, it's just people running around throwing balls like, a normal game. Except they're all having to like hold on to these like little brooms between their legs.
Well, I will fill y'all in next week as to how it goes.
Please do. Crispy?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to announce that I have actually acquired a sponsorship for my 4-Player Minute. So for the next 10 weeks, my 4-Player Minute will be brought to you by Carlos, purveyor of the best James and a scholar of meme magic.
What has happened?
My hype for this week is for this new lucrative partnership. Carlos has already paid for the next 10 episodes of my 4-Player Minute.
How much does that cost?
Well, I don't really feel like talking about money on air, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty
Pretty good. So look forward to some quality 4-Player Minute content brought to you by Carlos over the next 2.5 months. My sweat is for God of War for the reason that I kind of already said. It looks like it's going to be a great game. I'm excited to try it, but like the hyperbole around this game is kind of obscuring the optics, I feel like.
Can I just say, like, you're not wrong, but also there were a lot of different options for like reviews this morning to like read and whatnot. I can't remember which ones I read. I think I read one at like Variety, and I think one from Vice, like not the typical like Polygon and IGN that were floating around. They go into like some pretty stellar detail without ever dropping comparisons to things like Breath of the Wild or Dark Souls or anything like that.
We'll see. I'm
Just
allowed
saying.
to be nervous until I
Of course.
My thank you this week. The other day I scored my first chicken dinner in
Nice.
PUBG. So my thank you
Congratulations.
is to everybody who made that possible. Thank you to my partner who carried me to the victory after I died. So that's basically it. Thank you, Jeff. I love you.
Nice.
And my fuck you for this week goes to the haters.
Oh.
Just in general.
Just
So
the
everyone
haters.
that's not Carlos?
If you're a hater,
Fuck you.
fuck you.
Cool.
Don't at me.
Chris Davis.
Don't at me, bro.
Okay. My first hype this week is for the new Splinter Cell game that's going to be announced. Because you do not
Theoretically.
No, it's going to happen. Because you do not bring back fucking Michael Ironside for some measly little DLC event for a completely different game.
You did Brad did make a pretty good argument that that's exactly what they did with Conquer. Exactly what they did.
That was with Microsoft on a project that was already...
First of all, this
People
is
didn't care
Microsoft
about
we're talking about here.
Nobody cared about Project Spark.
I know.
But people fucking care about Splinter Cell.
Nobody cares about Project Spark. Nobody cares really about Ghost Recon Wildlands. People care about Conquer.
People care about
Splinter
Wildlands.
Cell.
There's an audience for that game. Otherwise, it would not have a year 2 season pass that's $40 fucking.
Look here, I'm not telling you.
They can charge whatever they want.
I'm
Doesn't
not
mean
telling
it's
you.
worth
Yeah,
it.
I'm not telling you they're not going to announce Splinter Cell. I'm just saying it's not unheard of to see them tease like a famous character coming back and then just throw it all away by making him some DLC character on a lesser game.
I look
It's
forward
happened
to
before.
seeing you eat your words.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm being devil's advocate here, and I'm also just trying to rile you up. That's all.
Yes, you're doing a good job of that. My second hype this week is for E3 in general, because I started thinking about all the games that are probably set to be announced, and all the teases that are starting to come out, like Splinter Cell,
Dude, I'm calling
Like
it.
Doom.
like Doom,
Elder Scrolls 6.
You think
maybe
has
Starfield?
that ever been announced
Oh
at an
my
E3
God.
though?
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't think we're going to get into Elder Scrolls. I think we're finally going to get Starfield.
Starfield.
Starfield is a project Bethesda's has supposedly been working on for about a decade now. It's basically Elder Scrolls in space.
So,
All
like,
right,
Star
there's a bold
Citizen.
prediction.
That
We'll
could be pretty good.
We're gonna go ahead and mark that down as a prediction, a
Yeah,
wild
but-
prediction.
But like, I started thinking about like Metro and Ace Combat and all these other fucking
Cyberpunk
titles we'll
is
get
going to be
see.
there.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
I'm like, this is going to be one of the best fucking E3s of like the past 10 years.
Let's not jinx anything, okay? I thought the same thing about last year's E3, and I was a little disappointed by last year's E3.
I mean, it pales comparison to 2015. I mean, come on. Like the Sony press conference at E3 2015 was amazing.
That is true.
My third hype this week is for Avengers Infinity War. I actually bought my tickets the other day.
Oh shit, that's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now, I'm gonna be taking off work to go see it, and I'm starting to get really hyped. I wasn't before, but now that I've started watching some of the Marvel movies and getting back into it,
Yeah, there's a lot of
pretty
reason to
good
be
about it.
excited.
And my one other thing this week, my sweat. I've got Yakuza 6 next week, and I've got God of War that I probably should play as well. But I find myself falling back and playing other games that I absolutely have no time for. I should not be touching these games. But
Which games are they, Chris Davis?
Chris Davis,
well,
which
tomorrow
games?
I'm going to be playing some of The Division because
Son of a
they
bitch.
released a brand new update yesterday that adds a bunch of content and changes a lot of the
I
things
cannot
about
believe.
it.
I was like, "There's no way he's gonna say The Division. There's no way."
No, you know what's even worse? What's even worse, Nick?
You're gonna say Metal Gear Survive, aren't you?
Metal Gear Survive.
God damn
I
it.
started
Damn it.
playing that because they're doing a Metal Gear Solid 3 event right now in which the fucking Shagohod can appear and help you out in a mission. Like, it drifts onto the scene like some kind of fucking Initial D thing, sprays machine guns everywhere, killing everything in sight, and then drifts off like something out of fucking Initial D.
So easily swayed. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
You need to play some new games, Chris
You
Davis.
could
I do
off-
need to play some new games.
Ban this man.
All they got to do is offer you a little Shagahod, and you're right back in with them.
They got that shag on, baby.
Oh God. All right. Is it my turn? Is that the
Yes,
end?
it is.
All right. Here we go.
I still haven't paid any money for Metal Gear Survive.
At all?
Yeah.
You mean you bought the game?
I mean, I bought the game,
Okay.
but like the in-game currency to buy shit, no.
Okay. I was like, what did you do?
And it's been 120 hours.
You stole that game? All right. My first hype, of course, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, God of War, getting stellar reviews. One thing I've always loved about God of War is just the worlds are always like super cool, and like everything that I've read so far, outside of the hyperbole that Crispy mentioned, has very much been like talking about the world is super fun to explore.
Yeah.
There's a lot to find, wandering off the beaten path, that kind of thing. And it looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and the story is great, and the characters are great. I mean, I am super floored to be playing this game next week. On the flip side, my sweat is, like I said, I wanted to play a old God of War game before the new one. I picked instead of playing the ones that I already played before, I wanted to play the one game that I've never played in the series, which also happens to be universally considered to be the worst, which is Ascension, the prequel that came out a few years ago. I've never touched it, but I figured I'd rather play something that I've never played before while I'm at it. So, gonna try that one. I'll probably do that maybe in the feed on Sunday.
I mean, I would say Ascension's the worst because when it came out, people were just fucking fatigued with that franchise.
Oh yeah, and I hear it does almost nothing to, does almost nothing to alleviate that feeling. Yeah. But you know what? I haven't played a God of War in like 7 or 8 years, so may not have as big of an effect on me.
I've never beaten a God of War.
My what? Okay, sorry. my other sweat is the Avengers.
Sweat.
It's sweat because I still haven't seen a trailer, and it's 2 weeks before, and I'm still trying to make it.
You need to watch one.
It's getting nope, getting close. It's getting harder and harder to dodge shit on like social media and stuff. I keep catching like glimpses of things before I realize it's an Avengers trailer, and then I see like Thor, and I'm like, oh shit! And I look away, but I've made it. I've almost made it. Just got to make it 2 more weeks. What?
I didn't say.
And
you're gonna go watch a movie, and it's gonna just play right in front of you.
My last hype. I'm excited for E3, but you know what I'm more excited for than E3? This is gonna sound lame. I'm really excited because Robin's moving with me when I get back from E3.
Lame.
The week after I get back.
Boo.
Week after I get back. I'm actually, I think, more excited about that than E3. But then again, that might change because E3 tends to build, right? You build up to E3 and then shit goes crazy. I can't wait. You know what? I'm hyped for June. June's gonna be fun.
Can't wait.
What can't you wait for, Crispy?
June. I don't want that.
The last day of June.
You had this look about you. I don't know. All right, that's it. That's it for the show, guys.
Cool.
Wait, when does Deadpool 2 come out?
May, I think.
May
Right?
Oh, shit.
20.
Yeah,
I think it's like May 29th.
Something's coming out in June.
Oh shit!
Like movie wise or game wise?
Next Friday, Super Troopers 2.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
420.
It's 420.
6 years too late.
Right?
Guys, there's no way that movie's gonna be good, right? It's gonna be another like Anchorman 2 or Zoolander 2,
The
right?
first one isn't really that good.
That's probably true.
It's funny.
That is probably true.
Why is
really
this better
funny.
than the Reno 911 movie?
What?
Shut the fuck up. That movie
That movie is
actually
fucking
really
great.
funny.
That's Chris Davis guy.
I love that movie.
Not to mention like just Reno
I didn't
911.
say it was bad.
Yes, you pretty
I
much.
just implied it wrong. I apologize.
Implied it.
Reno 911 as a whole is
It's
fantastic.
pretty
That was
funny.
pretty show. It's a good
pretty
show.
fucking fantastic.
New Boo
I'm sorry. Got a little heated there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. 4playernetwork.com is, of course, our website. You can watch us stream games every single night. 4pp.tv. We'll be back next Thursday night. It looks like we might trying to start around 8 o'clock. Now that Brad's back. I think that's not official yet, but
He's trying to force us.
he's trying to force our hand.
Dude, I'm 100% for it.
Okay. We're probably going to start it. We're probably going to start.
We're going to try to start.
We're going
the
to
show
start
at 8
trying to
o'clock.
start the show. I don't know what I'm saying. At 8 o'clock, starting next week. Join us then. We'll talk more about video games of all shapes and sizes. It'll be great. Of course, Discord, reminder, discord.gg/4player. Patreon is patreon.com/4player. Check us out there. Good night.